isn't it? A little bit different. Now that's something that'll give you some anti-dive. 1xn, good Ashe player. Now you have engage from Sejuani, Yone, and Ashe, and Seraphine. You can peel back with the Seraphine ult and the Galio. I like this from TT. This is a good composition. TT, my biggest complaint about them has been the fact that they hadn't really been able to find an identity. And I think this is it. I think this is an identity. I think this is great. I think this is very good, actually. Anyone's legend, though, on the other side. Do you have? Did draft already happen? Yes, draft just happened. Maybe we'll hear some Dryas as well for AL and for TT. There we go. Thank you, Montez. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a little over 2 weeks of doing non-stop LPL, and we are yet to miss a game. However, we're in week 3. Regular season does go on for 8 weeks. It's a lot of games, and we've already had our breaks, you know. So Sam and I will have to have a chat about how things are going with that. Starting the E for Hoya. Oh, he goes for the phase rush. That's very helpful. Flandre goes for the E, but honestly, Hoya not a bad trade though at level 1. Hoya doesn't have phase rush now. It's worth noting. That is a very long cooldown. Doesn't take a bad trade, but I mean, you have just walked to the Gwen without you. Oh my god, Hoya, you gotta be so careful with this. Guess passive. Eesh. Oh, the double flash. Hoya, buddy, you gotta be careful. This is one of the things that. Thank you so much. Sam's gone and bought me a cinnamon roll. You beautiful person. Samuel says gotta be even more beautiful. This is one of the things I learned weirdly in the Quinn versus Nasus matchup, because what'll happen is Nasus will let you 3-hit him on one wave, because phase rush is such a long cooldown that he can run at you, wither you, and you don't have the slow resist at that point to escape on the second wave. No. I was basically just saying that it's a phase rush Galio top, and Hoya got the phase rush on the first hits, and then went in for a second trade and then didn't have phase rush. You can't. Yeah, you need to play around phase rush cooldown like that. And the first trade was fine, the second one was not. Feather! I was just saying he's a newer player in the LPL. He's just played 100 games in the LPL. Hoya's in trouble. Oh, Hoya's in trouble. Hoya's in trouble. That bad trade might just cost him. No flash. Tarzan, how much damage is he going to get? He does have a little bit of mobility. Of course, the E gets some CC under turret. I mean, that's horrible too. And Tarzan dodges the turret because he has a W. He has a fizzy on a W. Why did they think that was good? Tarzan gets first blood, and Hoya, I'm sorry for you, buddy, but you shouldn't have taken that second trade. One bite was enough.
Look, it's only acceptable on fizz because it's carbonated, right? It's fizzy.
Oh my god, you're kidding. I'm going to leave Sam alone with the stream a little bit. I've got some other stuff got to do in the background. I'm going to drink some coffee as well.
Go sort that. Right, so where are we at? We clearly see that TT won the side select by the looks of it.
They did. Yeah. Flandre locked in Heimerdinger. It was very close then, went down to the last bit. It was
fun.
It was a lore matchup, Arcane. It was Master versus Apprentice. It was Heimerdinger versus Jace. Student and Professor. Fight over the spot side Scuttle now. Well,
Alright then, Tarzan. Flash for flash. Beatron went looking to get that permafrost down again. For all we really play Beatron's Lilia, which is very potent right now. The other thing to remember is his Sejuani, also a long-time specialty of this player. All the while, though, I have got my eyes on Shanks on that Akali. The last time we had this out, he went absolutely nuclear. Let's see whether we can manage that one. Hello, Montes. Hello, Jude. Hello, Jezebel. Good to see you. Official Wajid, also great to see you. Hey, Leslie. Nice to see you all in here. Also, I see Duo losing their mind about the big Belveth not being available. Corky Nico versus Ashe Seraphine. That's a very big shove bot lanes. And hang on, that was just a solo kill. I looked at chat for a second, come back, and Shanks has just killed off Setup. What? He's got flash up. What? I was not expecting that. I was looking at chat. I was saying hello. I turned back and realized, hang on, there's no setup. And Shanks now just gets a solo kill. Oh no. That's the Akali off to the races. I'm hoping we get a replay there because I hate to see exactly how that one happened. What? TT hasn't been alive in a game since BOG 3 weeks ago. They do seem to be tilting, don't they? See you around, Trinity. Oh dearie me, that is the correct choice. Majid, I agree. Hey Lorendi, also good to see you. How on earth? How on earth did Shanks just get a solo kill like that? Didn't this team beat BOG last split? Yes, they did. And deservedly so, too. There have been some solo lane issues from that, and Feather's had some interesting moments, too. Towards the grubs we go. Tarzan at least trades out on the dragon there as well. Bastion has a swipe. So can secure those grubs. Hoi hit with the shuriken flip. Tries to taunt it out, and Shanks holds. Before reactivating. Sejuani is out farming the Fury, which is kind of hilarious. See what that turns into anything. Hello from Chicago. This is KJB, good to see you. What about TT and Elo having their ADCs? I mean, yeah. Yeah. Not that it's fair to say that 1xN has been at his absolute best this split. But I think he's not been the primary issue, at least as far as I've been able to see. Morning, Curly. Good to see you. Nice slide out of the snips. Goes looking for the Q3, can't quite find it. Tarzan is around the bot side. And if Flandre can keep up trading, this could be a very aggressive dive here from Tarzan. Another good snip. Needles come flying on through. Lands the R3. I think Setab is just dead here. Hound's Pursuit. Stays alive for a second or two longer. Misses the Darking Blades. Unbinds the soul. Goes back and Tarzan picks it up. Can now look to reset. Now going back forward with the Hound's Pursuit. Had to flash to avoid the Glacial Prison. Stays alive. Nicely executed dive. Flandre sets it up. Tarzan knocks him down. Setab can't outplay. The deal emote has been added, oh boy. Is 1xN the AD that got a pen to an LPL debut a few years ago? I don't know whether he got a pen to his debut, but he did do some wild stuff on Aphelios versus Jackie Love, and did like a 1v5 Nexus defense on Aphelios with a 3-weapon switch of the gods. So this all starts off with Flandre getting some good chunks out before setting up for these needleworks, but the R3 landing means that Setup is pretty much dead to rights here. R's away. I wonder whether you have to R through Tarzan there. It's a good flash to avoid the Glacial Prison. That's another kill onto AL. That gets them 3 overall and puts them at the Martial Mastery mark of strength. Hello, one Nymaera who has returned.
I haven't this time. I've eaten, I've brushed my teeth and everything. I've even had some caffeine, so I feel
very nice.
slightly more human. Only slightly, can't get too much. We are League of Legends casters after all.
That's very true. Degenerates, the lot of us. Tarzan got a really cool dive with Flandre onto setup, where basically Flandre kept choking out, landed a few needles, and Tarzan was waiting to press R, basically.
Oh, TT. I actually like this composition. I do like this composition, that they're, down now in all key roles. Grubs are getting started up from TT, but I don't really think that TT are going to be able to hit turrets that well. I'm quite worried about that, because...
Well, at least you got the Yone, I suppose, but there was a solo kill from Shanks with the setup.
This is my problem. We do have a teleport coming in for a contest, though.
Okay. Second grub secured, that's 5. Looking for the pop blossom land from Kyle, and that means the very dead 1xN, who just can't flash far enough away. Great engage from Kyle, and TT just not ready to defend from a teleport and an eco flash.
And even though they have a good disengaged team, hang on a second, are we going to get anything more up here? I mean, you do have the Neferi W. Again, setup does manage to hit the bot lane turret, so in this case, actually, you do get to hit the turrets. That's nice. Obviously, cross maps are always your way to use grubs if nothing else works. 3-kill Neferi, though. Ash losing a flash. Dragon coming up and likely having to give that over. TT, they're in a tough spot.
Neferi will finish up that last grub by the looks of it, on the minimap at the very least. So Tarzan going to secure that within a moment or two, looking to hold on to the smite, I imagine, and save it for that dragon you mentioned. And there goes that singular grub towards anyone's legend. Let's have a look again. Basically, they see the clone come on through and go, cool, we're fine. Then they see the teleport and they go, well, I've got to go. I just can't flash far enough.
You can see that the horrible decision making that 1xN has to make there. I'm meant to retreat into my own side of the map. I can't retreat one way. If I go the other, Nico catches me. One's got a teleport on it as well. So you just can't go anywhere. At that point, I would actually save the flash. I think the only thing which saves you there is actually Feather just flinging an ult out, but then you can flash that too. So
yeah.
TT just didn't have the ward coverage to save them. And that is a problem. Losing kills like that and losing gold gives anyone's legends mobile assassins, of which
you have 2-3 of them, really. Yeah.
Even arguably Corki can be that too. Is a big problem for TT. If they got a lot of gold, you don't get to Deathfall without losing someone.
And again, AL have gone for one of these comps we've seen a few of from the LPL within the series about going for target access and damage, but necessarily the highest CC. Nico is your CC, and that's not bad, but you haven't got a Sejuani like you do on the other side, and so you're very light on getting far enough ahead that the damage you can do sticks real hard.
Is 1xN the AD that got a penta on his LPL debut a few years ago? He did debut in 25 maybe last year. Anyway, Hoya getting 1v1 by Flandre. A little bit scary here.
A lot of damage for you. Backs away. Use the phase rush to run on out. Needlework though. Forces Hoya down to about 20% HP. Dragon was secured, as you suggested it might be, by the side of anyone's legend. And they find themselves with a solid early game lead, all things said and done. Nearly at the 3k mark. Nice trade away there from Shanks, who returns to the shuriken he threw down in his miss just beforehand.
Okay. This is quite a lot of gold for this timestamp, folks. 3,000 gold lead at 13 minutes. It's quite a lot, especially when it is leading to, your Ash Seraphine not necessarily getting the lead which they want. The Gwen becoming kind of unmanageable, the Neferi as well. Flandre is getting teleported, and the arrow is going to snipe him. Alright, that's a good pick back.
Hallow missed, either on cooldown or not used. Thought he could skip and slash out of it, could not.
That's a great point. I mean, maybe afraid of the Sejuani ult if he used the W. Maybe that was thinking, I can get out with the E, but the W. I think he was thinking about too many things. Had the flash, had W, had E. Goes down. Maybe should have lived. AL will get the mid lane turret, though, as a cross map.
And it is secured in short order. Over we go. That's beat to strength secured with that first turret. Feather throwing down some beat drops, but Tarzan can do stuff on forward. He's in the hot dog skin, by the way.
It has been used in the LPL. It was not used in LTA. Apparently, it was kind of admin disabled there for competitive reasons or whatever. But I guess we don't give a damn about that here at LPL.
We had the Pengu Garen, remember, here, so...
Yes, that's true. That's true.
It was only in a 1v1, but it was there. Like, this is the scariest hot dog I think I've ever seen. Like, I've seen hot dogs made at Trafalgar Square at 3 in the morning.
About to say, like, if you're ever on the streets in London, do not get the street food. Now, there is great food in London. Just don't
buy the 3 AM hot dogs.
That is
the smell of fried onion is like a siren song summoning you to bowel disaster. With Phage Brand Wall, Arctic Assault over the wall to avoid being part of the bowel disaster.
Bowel disaster. It does sound like some kind of, you know, death metal band.
It does.
Oh, having to galley ult away.
Gets one out. But does need to burn the alternate. First ult of the game from Hoya there, at least as far as I've seen, is a defensively used one. There's some great street food, just don't buy the Trafalgar Square burgers, Montes. That's genuinely the long and short of it. There is great food in London. Do not, under any circumstances,
that's true.
Buy the burgers.
I will say kebabs are good. Kebabs are fine. Look, it's not Berlin kebab, which I think is very, very good. Even though I'm not a kebab enjoyer, really. I mean, I'm whatever, they're fine. But I'll have once every so often. Like, I can respect them in Berlin. London, you know, they're fine. They're good. Got some good ones. If I'm gonna go to London though, you know, I'm gonna go to one of my. I'm gonna go to Soho. Or I'm going to go to Brick Lane. Or I'm going to go to Shoreditch. And if you've really got money in your pocket, you can go to some fancy sushi in Canary Wharf or something. Anyway, this one's going to be catch of the day. Our first catch of the day. Harold's done that.
Fire the boob nipple gun.
I swear to God. I swear to God. Oh, Harold's going to get taken. Let's move away from that topic very swiftly. Arrow comes through.
It doesn't land. It wasn't onto the clone. There's Herald secure. Teleports come flying on through. That's a good combo. Kyle's flashing away, though. Puts setup and Dendro gets out of the pop loss by rebinding the soul. Shanks on the other side. He's got the passive running, looking to get some stuff done with the hammer strike. He's got into 4 members and just dies. Now Kyle very low on the other side of Task with Vegas and Dark and Daggers. Can't get that much value done. Feather in danger, though, as the needles will do so well. Hound's pursuit into the backside. Gets the kill onto the Seraphine. Hoya now dying, and they just bought enough time. Shanks may have died, but this has just left the Neferi and Flandre to hop all over everyone.
TT did not pay respect to the Hound, and the Hound takes his pound of flesh. Anyone's Legend come away with a 5-kill Neferi. Hope on a 3-kill Corki. He's now 2,000 gold up his own lane too. Anyone's Legend midway through that fight realized that they just had to throw themselves at TT because all of the skills have been used. As we go through this replay, let's track them. So we've got, that's the Ashe ult, one big tool. After this, we get the Sejuani and the Yone ults used not too quick in succession. And then, of course, the Seraphine too. The Yone ult doesn't get anything, neither does the Seraphine ult. That's three huge ults. You don't have the Galio ult from earlier. I don't mind Shanks going for this, knowing that the team will at least then be able to start the fight and you've committed TT to it. It's not the best execution for it, but the mindset I agree with. All the cooldowns are down, let's go in. See that Baytron tries to stop it and hope from getting damage onto the rest of the team, but at this point, you have nothing left in the tank.
Long-term tries to get one down, but it's just not that doable. I think the fact that they didn't pick off Kyle that fast, even though he's gone for Ionian Boots, not even Merc Treads there for the CC reduction. And he still survives. Maybe it's just that Chem Dragon timing. Maybe that's what it is.
Tower's going to go down. There's a setup of the house. But there's a commoner shout we've got to reply to. None of those fights are from England. Well, okay, get yourself sufficient chips. Then get yourself a pot pie. Get yourself a carvery, Victorious scones. Like, it turns out I like Asian food, and there's a lot of world-class Asian food within London, which is really good. Chicken tikka masala is legitimately made in Edinburgh. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah,
It was Glasgow. I really don't want to misattribute that because there's a rivalry between those two cities.
I think it's Glasgow.
And either way, why should you care where it comes from if it's good food and it's there and it's available? Because actually, it's come from the kitchen you've gone to visit. Yeah. Also, Koya in Soho, my favourite place in London. Is so goddamn udon.
I still love the fact that there's an udon place near us that legitimately flew to London from Berlin to go to Koya to get advice on how to do udon, which is kind of wild. It's a Japanese udon place as well in Berlin. Anyway, actually, we're gonna learn from this other place. Great. Love the casting so far. Thank you. We're also very protective of London's food. We love it there.
Yeah,
that's why.
London's pretty good. 3 dragons over towards Anyone's Legend. It's a Hextech Soul. They've got 3 dragons at 19 minutes. Hang on a second, actually, that could be some trouble there. Is Shanks going to go in on the other side? He's pops that ult. Yeah, he's going for it.
Way away. Setup's just dead under the turret. Flash away. Gorgeous, Shanks.
Setup unbinds the soul and sets the seeds of his demise. Shanks finds him on his return pad, and he doesn't have enough to get out of it at that point. Really well played by Shanks. TT, they have just been comprehensively outplayed. I like the composition, but AL gave themselves some individual ability to shine, and they've used that well.
London needs more Mexican food. You're not wrong,
does, yeah,
actually.
yeah.
If there was an international food type that London does not do well, Mexican's got to be right up there. Soul Rebound, Shanks, gorgeous. R1, Shuriken into his mist to give him the escape route. Like, it's so smooth. He's got the Shadow Flame done now, as well as the Rocket Belt. The Dark Seal is stacking, looking to go towards some Merc Treads by the looks of it. And I think that makes sense considering you're trying to manage quite a lot of CC heroes of the Italian. Honestly, by itself, this is not an easy Akali game. Look how many tools there are to make your life really hellish if you go diving too far between the Galio, the Sejuani, Ashe Seraphine. If you ever overplay your hand here as the Akali, you will have a bad time, but moments like that, you can say, okay, I see exactly why Shanks got this pick.
You know, Sugos is laughing about, oh no, that's another laughing matter. The ult pop for free again. Hoya, ever since that level 1, which we talked about, he has a flash. You've just burned your ult for free, buddy. Please don't burn your flash too. Lucky there.
How far does Tarzan want to go? Okay, that's fine.
I say, you can dodge turret shots with the W, which is a bit scary. Hoya, ever since the level 1, looking out of sorts. And sadly, this is more of the TT which I thought might happen at the start of the year. Obviously, he had a great split one, but I think Hoya has fallen off. I think that Beichuan has been doing fine. I think that Setup's been very mercurial. 1xn's been okay, but he's not been able to take the game by the scruff of the neck in the same way. Atakan's going to go down. I don't think there's going to be a contest, especially without that Galio ult as well. But TT, for me, very sadly, just haven't been able to find consistent form on anyone. They haven't found an identity. This is better with that, finding something, but they haven't been able to play through it well at all.
No, for me, this feels like coaching's probably the wrong stand, but like there is a team morale issue. It feels like with TT at the minute. They look defeated every time they hit the rift, and that's not what you want to see. I understand that it's a tough group to be in Group Ascend, but I don't feel like TT are getting better. They feel to be regressing, which is always a bad thing to be witnessing. Hoya finds himself in a 1v3. Setup will now turn up. TT managed to defend this tier 2. All the while, of course, they did claim that turret down towards that bot side, so at least get something in.
Right. I say right a lot. That's my reset phrase at the moment, where I figure we need to talk about something else, like potentially an all-in on the top side. Flandre does have flash, does have needle. He might just kill him.
Flash away will not be needed in the end as Flandre goes down. AL lose their top lane.
Yeah, he uses his ult, uses his flash, goes down, very close to killing Setup. A little overextended.
Tarzan.
Hang on, yeah, what's he going to do here?
I don't actually know whether Tarzan entirely wins that. It's a good W to avoid the Arctic Assault.
I think he does, because he has the Black Bleed. So if you hit 1Q, the bleed that's cancelling out. Hang on, Tarzan, did you just ult there? He was in his ult animation. Maybe not. Okay, no, it didn't go on. So what it'll do, it goes on cooldown when the reset windows elapse. He did actually get his ult cancelled there. Setup would have died.
Important ult cancel. And it's important that you can counter it as long as he's not in the air. While he's channeling up, you can interrupt it.
You can cancel it while it's in the air too. It's just that you can't block it like a Caitlyn ult anymore.
Sorry,
you can't.
I'm with you.
You can't body block it anymore, which was one of the more. I mean, it made her very unreliable as a assassin before. On the whole, I do think the idea for what she's had as a rework is fine. I just think they need. Yeah. We talked about this. Cancel. Sorry, I didn't order that hot dog.
Yeah, return to sender.
I know, it's from Trafalgar Square. That's not.
I don't want the Trafalgar Square hot dog.
I don't want the Trafalgar Square hot dog. That's the bad stuff.
Resist the smell of fried onions. Give not in to the sirens of Trafalgar Square our food.
Yeah, it's like, what? If it's sold by Cut Me Own Throat Dibbler, it's not food you want to eat, folks.
That be cutting me own throat, as Hoya might be cutting his own throat by walking in here, boss. Oh no, there's 4 people waiting to kill off the Galio. There's a redemption, but there's nothing to redeem. The coupons are out of date.
Words fail me, Sam, as apparently accents failed you. The Yode will bring back. And luckily, that's not a kill, so the poor people on the highlight video don't have to hear that.
The thing is, Onivia out there is going to clip this in and just go, yes, you do.
Yeah.
He's out there going, yeah, that was happening.
The things that we do for content. Satab does have flash, does have ult. Do you have a fight around what would be a Hextech Soul for anyone's legend? What tools don't we have available? Well, it's pretty much everything, actually. So, let's see what we've got. Without Flandre's flash, it's the one thing not there.
Soul. Always believe in your soul. Hang on, Glacial Prison blind to the voice. Into the arrow! Base one! It's gorgeous! It's only on to Kyle. They'll get one of those. Hope it's down to half HP. Pulled back to setup. Shanks on the back. Taunted up by that shield of Duran. And they kill off the Akali too. Base one in danger. Goes down. That's the reset now for Tarzan. He can look to hop around Hoya. In danger, but 1xn looking to trade on out. The needle's out. The shield of Duran. Again, another Q3. And Flandre goes down. Tarzan picks up another though. This dog is so damn scary. Q3 goes wild. How much damage?
But there's no smite. There's no smite. That's the problem. setup.
Tarzan.
I mean, he has enough ability to survive this setup, trying to stack up that Q. They cannot leash the dragon.
Trying to get the slows down, get another stun. Hope's returned. Now they've got the Corki here as well. I think TT just to back away. Redemption's back. Over the wall goes Tarzan. How aggressively do they want to play this? They've got the ability to teleport Shanks back in 15.
Also, if Tarzan ends up going towards... Hang on a second, he's going to go over the wall. You see TT, they need to get picks. They need to get a fight.
Hope, in a bit of danger, does a lot of damage back with the fast bomb. Darking daggers land on the Hoya, who then starts bleeding. Overcomes Shanks. Looking for those. Kyle! There's a stun on top of the Hoya. That's left to Onyx alone with one Tarzan! And he's dead as well. TT failed the extended pop quiz. They don't get the right multi-choice answer.
Oh, the Thunder is talking, but it's all Greek to me. They're not on the same page. They're not understood. It's a bit of a Tower of Babel, not on the same page. Anyone's Legend picked them apart because they don't quite get what they need. The smite is up, though. Baytron could go for a steal.
Of course, it's the Hex Soul. You have to go and play for this. The Hound's pursuit over the wall. Shanks also following. Feather likely to fall now. They pick him off. There'll now be a reset. And Tarzan goes flying across. Hexol being taken by the rest of the team, while the mid-jungle run at Sejuani is ball hunting, and they have more than enough spears to gut that Horror Rider.
Hextech Soul in 806 Neferi. I think in other regions, the Neferi has been not what I've expected. In the LPL, we found a way to really unlock this champion. LPL is so good at playing around this Neferi, and players like Tarzan shows exactly what you can do on the dog.
Oh, well, who let the dogs out? For
Tarzan.
free.
Yeah,
for free in this economy.
Damn. Insane. Well, if it wasn't over before, I think it is now. Going to the replay. So what goes here? Who goes there? Kyle, in the bush. This is a great Sejuani ult. This is great at the start. They see Hope and Kyle both in that side. They have it's kind of an educated guess that someone stood in that corner of the brush. Get the Yone ult after 2. Hope doesn't even get himself that great a fight. But once you've used all of your cooldowns, even though you get down the Nico without using the ult, the Akali doesn't impact this fight either. Where are the rest of your cooldowns now? No one's coming to save you after those are down. Hoya tries to get some CC, but no. Neferi can solo carry at this point. Dip in and out of brushes. Wait for those second round of cooldowns while you hide out of vision. And because Sejuani's died in a very important kill, you can't go for the dragon secure yourself.
Tarzan plays this so masterfully. The Eviscerate cooldown at this point nearly non-existent. Brings the dogs back up. Hex Gate's back over to the other side, and they play out the fight from there. It's very smooth stuff. And, you know, for TT, that was a close fight. They got in that dragon. We might be having a different conversation, but they don't. They do go down, Sol. They are now in a position where the 8,000 gold lead is only getting worse. There was an arrow in the picture-in-picture that flashed away from. They look like they tried to pick off the pick for Kyle, who does actually fall at the end of that. So that's not bad, actually.
No, he has been picked off well. And, you know, Kyle's a support player, which we believe to be the best support in the LPL right now. It's not his cleanest game. TT have been putting a lot of focus onto him, as he is the sole engage. It makes sense, right? You're a squishy support. You are the only engaged. Flandre's going to find Baytron. You'll be able to do that much about it. Baytron is still, you know, even 2.5k down. Pretty tanky. Baron started on vision, wasn't caught by the sweeper. That all-seeing Baron gives you that extra terrain to work with.
Shanks has 5 knives to stab Hoya with and is running around with that. Kyle will body block Baytron out, keeps him out of the pit. For now, tried to get into Baytron, not quite in time. Now Flandre on a flank will make sure that Baytron is likely going to die. They're galley-waltzing in on that!
I don't know about that one, son. Galio flies in just to mark the graves, and there's a giant statue as a headstone now. TT comprehensively outplayed. I like the composition, but they've just been torn apart, torn up from the soil, root and stem.
I think you're mispronouncing the name. It's GG at this point. TT have got nothing left to say in this game.
What a good joke you say in chat.
Thank you.
It never goes down. Anyone's Legend. They picked in 3 assassins and a Corki. Throw a Nico in there, why don't you? And they've completely shredded this game.
Oh, damn. 1xN drags Tarzan onto the fountain, but he gets to press W and send the dogs at him anyway! Cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war, Tarzan!
Silas a good enough ult to steal. I think that's the logic. I don't think it's great. I think you already have Alistair into Poppy and into Silas, which is not good at all. Flandre will look in the Aurora. We'll see how that works out. I like the YouTube stream the most, no ads. It definitely helps for the viewer experience, right? Baytron and Nidalee GT. I think he could have been on Nidalee GT. I think that would have been a better pick, actually, Norendi. I like that. I would have liked that. I suppose you would have had less setup, but I think it would have been fine there. The brand, to me, streams I just got to go back to something comfortable, and it was comfort last summer. It's been a while since we've seen it though. All right, Beitron, show us what you got, because this is a rough game. TT might be going 1-5 here. Feeling like very much placeholders here in the group ascend. Dankeschön, mein Bruder. Ich habe ein Kaffee. No.
Is it
Ear is, that's plural, isn't it? Oh, maybe not.
Ear is in, makes it he.
Yeah.
He has a coffee.
Yeah.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah.
Er hat einen Kaffee. It's einen.
Oh yeah, einen, because it. Look, by the way, for those of you that missed our context from the last week or two, Sam and I are taking German lessons because we live in Germany. We need it for our visa. So we are learning German typically in the morning before LPL streams. Today was a bit too much though. We decided to catch up on notes later because we have been doing about, I don't know, 6, even upwards of like 8-hour streams on the weekends for LPL for 2 weeks solid. This is why I don't like the Aurora into the Jace. Flandre chose this matchup, and I'm not a big fan of it. Well, I mean, yes, but then also you don't win. Okay, there are 2 problems. Too short range to bully melee at auto attack range and blah blah blah, and you're not winning the melee fights either. Hope does blow the barrier early for level 1 control.
That he does, and we've obviously got some interesting drafts here with big wombo combo from anyone's legends between the Skarner, that's the name of the Scorpion, and Poppy setting up for the likes of this Silas and Aura to run rampant. But look at the other side, and Beitron on that brand. It's been a while since we've seen that champion being really pulled out.
When it was locked in, I do feel like Nidalee was actually just a better pick. Yeah, Flandre, I don't know about this Aurora into the Jace. That could actually be a bit of a problem. But I think the reason why Beitron picked it is that they locked the Alistar, immediately got a Silas slammed into them, which I think is a problem, because that is one of, if not the best ults in the game for Silas. By the way, whatever, we can have a tangent about this. The best ults in the game for Silas, and it's not always... Oh, do we have to talk about that? Okay, we'll talk about that at some point. We might have to talk about a Skarner gang first, though.
Hoya might be not enjoying the experience of people available. Flash the weirding slow. We'll throw down the electric field and get out to safety. The boulder just wide, and Tarzan swing and a miss.
2 flashes for 1. But Flandre gets himself a frozen wave if he wants it. He probably will. Wait, can he? He has enough HP. Yeah, he can actually save this if he wants to. But of course, Silas back on the screen. Let's talk about some of those ultimates, because Alistar is very, very good. Any kind of ultimate which makes you survivable is very good for Silas, because it means you get another cooldown of your W off, maybe even 2 or 3. So that's why Tryndamere, when he was mid lane, Silas was insanely good into that. Stuff like Mundo ultimate can be incredibly powerful too. Then of course you're looking for anything with very high AP ratios, and then of course it includes the abilities which have like their AD ratio kind of transformed into that. So there are some of that. Gnarlt is insanely good with that. We'll leave that conversation. We will feel like it's fun, and I want to talk about it, but we might get to dive here.
Looking for the damage. Pyroclasm comes on throws out the Seer. Doesn't find as much value as he's hoping for. Takes a couple turret shots and has to back away. Flandre mostly okay here. Still holding on to TP, by the way. Hasn't reset yet.
Yeah, I wanted to get a little bit more farm, I suppose. Get back to first times. We'll see what build they go towards. I hope it's a bursty one. There's basically no tanks besides that Alistar, who doesn't care if you put all the entries on him anyway, when he's another result. Of course, Silas ults. I want to keep talking about this.
Yes. Yeah, go on.
There was actually a tier list that C9 had. It's something like Season 8 worlds, the best things to put in through there. It might be slightly later. Gangplank ult is the best. Fantastic AP ratio, global, very, very useful in team fights. Gangplank ultimate is largely Silas's best ultimate to steal.
I can see it.
Outside of that, this might have been Season 10 actually. I think that was the kind of time. There are things which are very, very good mobility, damage, and also CC. Hecarim ult is one of the very best in the game for that, because it has an incredibly good AP ratio.
I remember that one being top tier.
And then one of the very best ones is Seraphine. Seraphine Ultimate.
Really?
Because it has an incredible AP ratio. Of course, Seraphine is designed to be a mid lane mage, and they kind of buckled to the pressure of the community and put her in support and bot lane anyway, because they really liked her in that role. Yeah, and of course there are a bunch
I still think she's arguably a better mid lane or AP carry bot than she is a support anyway.
And then there's the one that was mentioned in the chat as well. We were getting there. There is an ultimate which is so good on Silas that it doesn't matter if Malphite is in the game or not, in any kind of role, it doesn't have to be in top lane to top lane, mid lane to mid lane, jungle to jungle. If Malphite is in the game and Sylas is on the other team, it is the largest win rate discrepancy of any champion matchup in the game.
That's rough.
It's the hardest counter matchup in the game because Sylas uses your ult so much better than you. That unstoppable force is not okay.
We had Gio Callis in chat earlier as well, wherever they are, saying, why are we not picking Belvex into Neferi? It's the highest win rate at Master Plus
That's
into
actually,
Neferi.
you know what? I thought it was a meme at first, but then
54% win rate.
But I actually think if people are going to blind pick the Neferi, practice the counters. There is a saying, I'm making it a saying, if something is blind picked for long enough, it is no longer a good blind pick. This happened with Aatrox in top lane, it's happened for stuff like Taliyah and Azir in mid lane. It will happen. It will eventually happen with Neferi if we keep blind picking it. It's happened with Jace in the past. So many different champions. Eventually, we will have these kind of answers. Dragon going to be started from the bot side. Does look like this contest.
See what they can do.
Oh, Swain all into making Swain Sylas a better sit at Swain. Yes, because he has mobility and then kind of keeps getting
more
that
sustain elsewhere.
Now the thing is, he doesn't build Rylai's to get the biggest stuff out of Swain ult, but yes, that is.
He didn't before Swain was in the game.
You know, sometimes I think there are some ultimates which are so good on Sylas, you actually should change your build to get better value out of it. Yeah. Sometimes. It's not often, but because you obviously don't get the same kind of cooldown for it, but it can genuinely be game changing like that.
I could see a third item Rylai's or something for a Sylas. It makes him stickier anyway. Do you remember when things like Frozen Mallet were in the game for Yasuo and you'd be able to run at things like Gnar?
Yeah, but basically, if you get... Hang on a second, good W there. But basically, anything which gives damage or survivability or mobility, very, very good. Shanks, is he going to be able to... Well, none of these are actually very useful for him. Again, this mid-jungle does not have useful ultimates for the Sylas. Sometimes the Taliyah ult can be, because you used to pick Sylas into Twisted Fate, for instance, where you just follow his ult and use the Destiny against him. Yeah, I don't know, because you have Destiny Gate. And typically, one of my favorite things to do with Sylas is think about silly names to remember them by. So, my favorite matchup in the game is actually Azir versus Sylas. Because we get Macedonian warfare. Both of them cast their ultimates at the same time. It's like, I'm back in ancient Greece, baby. Alexander the Great, I'm there with you, man. Like 256 land phalanx, peak of warfare.
Wonderful. I still think
Give me a Sarissa.
I still think my favorite rename though is, of course, if Ivan's ultimate is Daisy, then it goes by logic that a stolen, hijacked Ivan ult is in fact Peach. So you have Peach v Daisy.
Yeah, so this is an innovation from the brainworks of Nymaera again. Your ultimate is in another castle. You have Daisy. I have Peach.
Exactly. Genius.
And then of course my other favorite one is Ornal, which is being stolen, which is
the Forgery God.
The Call of the Forgery God.
So
I have spent a great amount of time thinking of stupid names.
We were on LGL figuring these ones out. Wasn't
Well,
it?
no, Sam, no, that was after actually. I did that in 2022. Nope, I did that one because I remember first calling that one when I was on cast with Quickshot. Yeah. And
sure, I remember
yes,
doing it in 21.
no, Sam,
you.
no, you were gaslighting yourself. I named this when I was on cast with Quickshot, and he was like, "Did you say that?" It's like, "It's okay." It's very funny. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this book.
And we go towards this minion wave bot side as 1xn. Down a fair amount of CS down here, actually. Been lots of good work from Hope and crew to get some value down. Chains of Corruption,
no
a flash, heroic charge of the Wolf Feather, just about out to safety, but the Ignite finishes off what the rest of the team started, and that means this Misfortune is left to her lonesome under this tier 1. There's a wave crashing on in. A last poor 1xm, we knew thee well. Tries to clear out the wave, gets a decent knockup. Should be able to get one back at least. Tarzan flashes on out. They do kill off the Misfortune, but at least 1xn clears the majority of the wave and gets a kill.
That's insanely high roll for 1xn in terms of value there. Gets a kill, gets a couple of flashes out. Does blow both summoners. That's my worry here. Blowing both their summoners, is that something which AL can just punish immediately? Shanks has got himself that ultimate from the Taliyah, so he will be roaming around the map. That might be used to drop on top of 1xn's head, and now he doesn't have ult or both summoners.
Well, that was an experience for all the family.
Hoya jumping on top side. No. Oh, it's going to be the Rod of Ages Aurora. That is a buildable time. Hoya is here. Now being countered by Kyle, though. Does have that flash. Gets between worlds on him. We'll just walk out of the play.
Just slowly meander away. Jace goes, I cannot. For the attention of rabbit people, and leaves. I'm trying to get that Genshin Impact quote when you denied Timmy his pigeon feeding quest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the one on in Mondstadt.
Yeah, I care not for the love of pigeons or whatever it is. It's like, who wrote this line?
I do kind of miss playing Genshin. It was very, very chill. It was like, it is basically anime waifu Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it was.
Sometimes I'm about that life, folks. You know, saw Yai Miko was in the game, like,
Fox Girl. Yeah.
close enough to Ari. Good enough. Welcome back, Ari, League of Legends. Kyle trades his life for 1xn there. I actually think Kyle does the right thing trading the 1-for-1. You may as well kill off the misfortune, leave them a wave. You know one of my other favorite Silas names? This is not one which I invented. This one that goes to Harold Hamhand, who's a regular in our Twitch chat, is the Hextech Ultimatum becomes the Chemtech Compromise.
The Chemtech Compromise.
It's just so wonderful. Fun. It's so fun to say. I actually really like that.
Oh, it's great.
Oh, and then of course, the one which we did invent, the villain's entrance.
That was so good.
Stealing the Galliwalt. There's a clip. By the way, you can go to the YouTube Shorts or onto TikTok. We had a really fun moment where we were just shouting the villain's entrance whenever it happened. Grub's gonna get taken. Anyone's Legend trying to. Well, they'll get at least one. They wanted to stop the 6, which is what they've done.
We'll get on to the Grubs and claim at least 5 of them here, I think. We'll do just that. Of course, this game, you've got the Jace, you've got Talia to an extent as well with her ability to play the map pretty wide. A little bit easier, I think, this game, theoretically, to get a little value out of that transfer. You had the Yone last game.
I'm seeing some sacrilege in chat, but it's okay. We might have a fight, so we have to... Oh! Damn, full house ultimate. Hits 3 of them. For those of you who are saying that a Hollow from Spice and Wolf is a Fox Girl, let me just remind you of the title, Spice and Wolf. It ain't the same. There are, I mean, whatever. You can figure it out for yourself from that arrow hits. It is the poke fast, can do a lot of damage.
Woo. Into the hail of arrows. Into the last shot, Ho! It's just styling on this game.
1xn had no summoners. We said, oh, it might get punished. It is right there. Hope is starting to pull ahead of this game in a serious way. Almost 1,000 gold up individually.
Mecca with the, oh, I may be a tad exposed. I mean, yeah, look, you're a Code Geass enjoyer, so that was always, you know, the way it was going to be, wasn't it? I don't know why I just had to stick on it. It's like Code Geass is a bad anime.
It's actually very good. It's one of the classics. So what happens here? Gets hit with the Comet first. He's on the slow field from the E, which means he can't dodge out. That's kind of rough. Also couldn't heal up enough while he's on the slow field as well, because it gives you that grievous wounds. It's a very clean combo from the Hope, but 1xn probably shouldn't stick around on that E.
Oh man, that's still now 25 CS down. It's nearly 1,000 gold. It's looking pretty dire there. Bot lane has not played out the way TT needed it to.
You know what? There's a great comment in chat as well talking about Silas stealing stuff like Aatrox ult for the healing, which is insane. Actually, that is a really good point. And then also Trundle ult for the shred. Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. You know, basically, you know, there are some times where even stuff like the Sejuani ult, we're like, really good AP scaling, by the way. That can be absolutely huge. Yeah, I do like thinking about the Silas ult steals. They can really change a game. It's like when every champion is released now, Silas mains on Reddit says, how's our new ultimate?
Yeah.
I appreciate that a lot. Funnily enough, obviously in lore has a lot of interactions with Lux. Yep. Lux is one of his worst ultimates to steal because I'm pretty sure he doesn't get Lux passive. Whereas, for some goddamn reason, he does kind of get Ahri passive when he steals Ahri ultimate and uses that better than you do, which sucks. Now, the good thing is, you still play at range, so I think in the past there were points where Silas was just a better version of you. I think with Malignance giving you a shorter ult cooldown, you can trade ult for ult more effectively, and you can still be okay at that point. You just have to play defensively versus Silas.
Fair enough. Alex, if you steal Gnar, is it a Yar ult?
Oh.
Yar!
Isn't that Gangplank instead?
Yar!
Oh, man. I don't... Look, the thing is, though, sometimes the alt name, it comes easily, Sam. Comes easily.
God, if it's a cannon barrage, shouldn't it be a Legends barrage? This is no longer canon?
That's really funny, but you need to be able to stand it out like... Oh, it's actually kind of good. Maybe, you know what? Probably not, because it just doesn't... It's not quite... You can't describe it easily enough. I mean, you can do the Daylight Vigil for Aphelios.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah. Daylight Vigil's pretty good. I don't know, what else have we got? Bullet time? No.
Moonfall for Sunrise?
Yeah, or the Sunfall. Sunfall's probably better. You need to, like, it needs to be really easy to grasp what you're trying to make a joke out of. Yeah. Like, if it's the Call of the Forgery god, you're like, oh, that's really funny, because you understand in the 1 second. I think if you go Sunrise, it's like, that's just a normal word. If it's Sunfall, you're like, oh, I get it. It's Moonfall, but Sun. I'd say, like, Yasuo would be first breath instead of last breath, but then that makes you think that you're giving birth. which is probably not what you want to do in that situation.
There's a fan fiction about that.
No,
sure.
no, God, no. Tarzan going to come down Setup, has used the ult. Can he force the flash out of him?
Setup is in a lot of danger here, gets hit by an upheaval.
No. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not thinking about it. Teleport away, Setup's safe.
Don't know what on earth you're thinking about.
Shut up, Sam. Shut up. No, just shut up. Silence on the boss side of the map. Maybe he could steal himself that Unbreakable. Will, haven't thought of a name for that one yet, but the Impale is a good enough as himself.
Bullet time afterwards, make sure that Tarzan has to get out to safety. Phase 1 finishes him up and will trade his life. Jungler for jungler. 1xn though. In a 2 versus 1 has to flash out to safety. Does still a flash for the arrow! Doesn't stay alive for long.
Shanks still has that Unbreakable, Will. Perhaps could break them in half on the other side of it. Winning on both sides of the map. I mean, TT, you've just lost in top lane, you lost in the mid lane, you're not doing anything in the 1v2 on bot side. What are you doing on the map if you're losing everywhere?
Right then. How are we today? We're pretty good, Mr. Baneblade. It's glad to see you. We were trying to Warhammer earlier, actually. You missed it. There's Flandre. Actually feeling okay now on this Aurora. We've not seen too much of it. It's about half HP though, and Setup is looking to see whether there is a seismic shove available and forced to flash the Aurora. And I can only apologise for what will inevitably be called a caster curse.
I have to say, Flandre, looking at the Aurora and kind of getting bullied about just to turn up, do his job later, I kind of respect it. Patreon, it's a decent flash away at first, but he does get the ult crit ticking onto them. I mean, this is what the brand was meant to do into this match. I mean, it's why he was actually quite good against Skarner last year. Points 5 in the screen.
Flandre's got the Between Worlds running. Tarzan's still alive, and Beichuan is not feeling very Bay right now. He needs to go back and do his makeup again. It's 1xn trying to find an angle. Shanks nearly found an abscond duck despite the headbutt coming on through. Feather down trading out with his last having a great time doing it. Flandre picks off Hoya. All the while Setup's trying to run away. Will blast cone out to safety briefly, but now he's caught between a Rock Scorpion and a Poppy. Oh, place, but there's a wall away. He turns around. He could just skate away from his feelings.
Builds himself his own highway and skedaddles out of that, but TT still lose themselves the fight. It's 3 for none. Did AL pick up Herald as well? No, it didn't die, so that didn't go down at least. I'd imagine that'll probably go down
pretty shortly,
in short order after that. I guess you got Silas to use the Alistar ultimate. Kind of sucks that you can't even force him to like use the Silas ultimate in a bad way and like be like, oh, I'm gonna struggle without that later. Shanks was doing just fine, folks. He is almost at 10 stack Rod of Ages, almost 1,000 gold up. Starts a 1v3 pick onto Tarzan, then of course the cavalry comes in. Phaetron used the flash the last time. Doesn't have his ult. I actually thought he had it in live. But I guess the indicators lied to us. Didn't get that ultimate. Shanks comes in. At this point, the fight's just over, isn't it? And Alice is now dead.
Got a shove. The bullet time is pretty good. At least Kyle kind of split off, but there's just another arrow. Hope has been heat-seeking all the world and about 30,000 of the arrows. Hope lands another setup down about a third, but he gets over the shove back. Hope, great barrier, keeps himself topped up. Aurora picks up the kill that his AD carry started. Flandre now on the other side, looking to see whether there's some damage to be done with the 2-fold Hex, but will be happy enough clearing out the wave. And over the Dragon and Soul Point AL go, having claimed the mid-jungle again.
Anyone's legend. They're just outplaying every skirmish. I don't think there's been a single skirmish this series which TT have won. And that's saying something. Even with, I think, drafts from TT, I think in the first game the draft was much better for them. This one, I don't think so as much. What happens here? We didn't even see Feather die at first. Petron gets a stun, can't get the passive afterwards. Shanks steals Pyroclasm, and what does he get in terms of that? Does he actually manage to cast it in a good way? No. That's kind of funny, actually. Well, I guess he just lobs that at him, and then Hope takes the kill.
Fireball!
Fireball! Have you seen that one guy who plays COD Warzone and just uses quote-unquote spells? Yeah. It's like, Thor's Hammer, Wrath of Fire, Wrath of Fire.
My personal favorite is the Bella Ciao guy, who's the opera singer.
Oh yeah.
Who basically
sings at you when he runs at you.
Just start singing Bella Ciao down an octave at you in a 1v1.
Sorry, just as you say that, got jump skipped by that on the south side.
Bella Ciao, Ciao, Ciao.
The things we do for content, folks. This series, if you hadn't guessed, folks, it's kind of over. But no, you're looking to put off the finishing touches.
Beatron's having a bad time. Flandre's looking to go on forwards, and the Killer Bunny Rabbit with the sharp pointy teeth will be claiming one additional kill there onto Beatron. Feather has made his will unbreakable, but much like that one, was it the janitor from Futurama? Their will really was breakable under enough weight.
Scruffy loves this company. It wasn't him. No, it was a protester against Zoidberg's people. You can break my body, but you can't break my spirit. Oh, my spirit!
Exactly, that's basically what happens every time I see Alistair die.
Yeah.
But that's the line I'm going to use the next time he dies. Like, and then, you can break his body, but you can't break his spirit. Oh God, his spirit!
I can do that second bit.
That's the way we do it. Okay,
that's
guys.
the way we do it.
Right,
so
ready?
folks, next time that Alistair dies, preferably while he's ulting, that's the line we're going to work on. If this works its way into the highlights, they won't see this bit, so it's going to look fine. It's going to look like it's unprepared.
Yeah,
it's going to be really good.
We did remember to mute the mic while we were talking about this, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No one knows we planned this.
I wouldn't do a thing like that, you know. How can it say turn this bit later? I'm sorry. They are 6,000 gold ahead at 20 minutes. One XN getting jumped on. He has summoners. I don't think it's going to help.
I think it's a 0 XN right now. 0 did invade the spot. All the while, TT will claim a bounty on that tier 1, and that's about it. As Beige One having to flash away between worlds. Feather there in danger. Heads on forward. Hasn't burned the ult quite yet. It's going to be knocked up and around and dies a horrible, horrible death. Tries to run out, does finally do so. There is no breakable will to have a conversation.
Yeah.
So I hold on to the line.
My worry is he's gonna die and then the game's gonna end and we're gonna miss our chance. Hope on bot side does have
next game. It's fine. There will be an Alistair at some point.
There will be an Alistair at some point in the near future.
Well, you got on the wall. Maybe don't stand there as he has to flash away from abscond and an arrow. Well, strictly it's the abducted because he already absconded.
Yeah, he had. For some reason, I used to think that abscond abduct had something to do with the loping, and I thought that's just not.
Well, usually if you abscond with someone.
Yeah, no, that one is a thing. And I thought, yeah, it is normal. Hang on, Beige One, buddy, you don't have flash.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, that's a problem. Shanks, what ultimates you got still? There's your unbreakable will.
There it is. Feather yet to pop his own. Will flash over the wall. Shanks begins to browse for those petrified bursts. Chain Lash comes on down, looking for another angle on in. Where is the abscond and that abduct? Has gone forward and ends up abducting onto Feather. Headbutted into the wall. Feather now breaks his will, and I don't think it's breaking his body. They'll get that one down. They get the knock up with the Keeper's Verdict. Damage comes on down. Arrow across. And they won't get that one.
That was our chance, Sam.
I know.
We practiced for this. We rehearsed it.
The phrasing wasn't there in the moment. I'm sorry.
I can tell, Sam.
Look, it's okay. Just wait for a better moment.
You know what, Sam? Next time you do it, just watch over your shoulder, Sam. I'm going to say it instead.
Okay.
Get it to the replay.
Yeah.
And Beige One died. Didn't have flash. Have no rights going off there. And TT, once again, have lost every single skirmish this series. They haven't won a single skirmish this entire series.
Yep, there's an absconsions and abductions and the deaths of people and the cow. Made his body slightly less breakable, but only momentarily, and that's actually a really nice keeper verdict.
It is, and obviously Shanks just knowing that he can keep walking forwards. I don't know if TT can do much about this.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he dies again, and Flandre flies into the backline.
Flandre gets out of the seismic shove. Tarzan throws a boulder. The Impale is turned around. That's not bad for H1. And the bullet time burn is enough to kill off the Skarner. That's something. Shanks has stolen the Pyroclasm, but again, not that great value here. Again, you get most value out of having a brand passive, by the way, Shanks, just so you know. Is burning down himself, does avoid that seer coming across the age there. Stay alive for now.
Dragon up in 30 seconds. Tarzan being dead for it doesn't mean there's no smite on the table, but TT have lost their mid laner, which is kind of a yeah. We want control.
Assume. Single bush.
Dude, this is like Mass Effect 2 all over again. Assuming direct control.
Bang. Headshot. Deal with it.
I was like, what do you mean by that? Yeah, if you've never played Mass Effect 2, folks, there's a character which just takes control of the enemy drones and turns them into like an avatar of this one kind of like, you know, alien general dude, the Reapers. But if you kill him midway through the transformation, the voice line just stops. So it's just assuming direct headshot. M98 Widow, man. What a sniper that was. Oh, I missed that gun, Sam. I missed it a lot. I missed my wife, Tails.
You were going towards that. This is a call out on Twitch.com. TV.
You know, I think .tv is actually that is actually the domain of some. I think it's a Caribbean island.
It's got soul.
It just got soul for free. TT just decided to give up Infernal Soul, which is the thing. Yeah. Tuvalu, yeah, and it's where most of their GDP comes from now. Actually, those domains. It's absolutely insane how much value they've got now. That is genuinely their country's economy. Yep, Infernal Soul. That's some big damage. Oh, Feather's going in.
Try and find the angle. We'll look to try and stay alive. We'll make his will unbreakable. The Keeper's Verdict comes on through, but doesn't really land onto anyone. Just shy of 1xm. Weaver's walking to the cross. It's Kyle split up, and it's now a tool potential for Kyle to use, but it's Hope who's been left out to dry. Nice kill. It's Setup who gets that one. TP coming on in, but they're pretty damn deep, but they've already lost their AD carry.
I mean, AL so far ahead in the game with Infernal Soul, pushing across everywhere, kind of lose the plot a little bit, but TT maybe get themselves this kill. Can they go towards Baron? Of course, Brand, one of the better Baron takers in the game because of his passive and his burns.
There are so many control wards everywhere, and Setup's trying to
They're
buy some
teleporting.
space.
Yeah, this is the last slot. This is the last gap. Let's go for Baron.
To Baron we go, and TT will flip hard here. Tarzan in the river, looking to get on in. Shanks is stolen. No, the Hammerstrop does miss that abduction. Can look to do some more. Seismic shove onto Tarzan, does a fair amount of work. Into the backhand there goes Shanks, trying to buy some time. Where is Feather, who's made his will breakable enough for a second or two. Will not be able to do all that much damage, and everyone else is absolutely murdered. Thunder Talk grounded. This storm peters out into nothing at the hands of anyone's legends.
Anyone's legend. See them at the Baron and say, well, it's time to end the game. They'll teleport down towards this bot lane wave. They have one in mid lane too if they need it. This should, I mean, is it going to be the end of the game? We'll see. It's actually still quite early into the game. 10 seconds on Feather. We'll have his ultimate available. I think AL will at least take double in here.
More. It might be a bit bold, but we'll see what they can do. Shanks is now caught in the face. See whether they can get that double in hit. Should be doable. 10 seconds now, 1xn and Beichuan. Relatively speaking, Hoyle will be just behind them too.
Made a mistake, by the way. Tuvalu, not Caribbean. It's Asia Pacific.
Ah, there you go.
But, I knew it was an island nation. I just didn't know which part of the world. But there you go. And that's where you get TV from for Twitch.tv. It's actually not for television. It's for Tuvalu, which is very cool.
Twitch.tuvalu. Tuvalu. Tuvalu.
That's great. I'm happy. Yeah, well, this was the ill-fated Baron experience. Shanks steals that Unbreakable Will, and Silas is not okay with that ultimate. Just not okay. Great E to the side. I mean, I love how Shanks is calculating. I kill with this auto attack. My next skill's going towards the next one, so I can just keep on the charge. That's the sign of like really good Silas players, where they just get to, they know they can get that one kill, safely go on to the next target without wasting damage.
Feather had to pop his ultimate there to stay alive. Obviously, he was hit by the Chains of Corruption. And anyone's legend at this point, looking to set up around this Baron and really put a nail in the coffin of this game, where TT already residing. I don't know whether they're quite dead yet. I'm not dead!
Yes, he is. Oh,
We'll be soon enough.
Oh, man. Shanks are the Magi's, by the way. 10 stacks of that. Building towards the Zonias, so Shanks, you know, style points. Baron's going to go down, and it was a little too early in the game to finish earlier. It feels like it's harder to finish earlier nowadays. I feel like
Baron doesn't spawn as early as part of it.
You used to be able to get 20-minute Barons and just finish the game. That's Kyle going in for a wall stun.
Jumps across the Unravel there, but doesn't care all that much of the Merc spreads in a Negatron cloak. And Feather just about out and alive, but Shanks looking! Will flash with a Jane Lash. Beichuan goes down as well, and TT crumble once more. Shanks just wide with that abduction. The Queen of Bilgewater survives a ransom price to be paid this time around, but the sole remaining member alongside Hoya have got to do absolute Herculean work here, but I think the 7 labors of Hercules might be easier than keeping this game running, all things said and done.
Wasn't it 12?
Might have been 12, actually, yes.
Oh no,
there's
even more! There's so many!
Oh my god, there's more to do! Oh, the work never ends! Hoya now in danger with one set. I love my mythological references. It's like my one thing! I have references and I can't even get them right. Anyone's legend will, though, end this game in confident fashion. 29 kills to 4. It was not looking for warding moments, and there's been some discussions about how that's happening, whether that's an individual error or team play. Either way, the end result is him getting picked off a little bit.
Okay.
And PP God goes towards the Leona, looking at Zenith Blade into the backside. The fact I have to say PP God out loud and seriously is a wonderful part.
The thing is, PP God knows what his name means. He was told in an interview, he was like, huh, that's very funny. That's great. And that's basically it. He knows what he's making us say. You know, back in the day when he was back on OMG, alongside Shanjiaki, and then of course Cream and Abel as well. I had this running theory that every single member of that absolutely chaotic OMG game, their name was OMG. Oh my god, how well are the teams as well? And this one will be so hype either way. Both teams so proactive, so aggressive. Let's get it on.
Oh, look at that skybox.
敌军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎他们。
The distant rumble of gyos, those crowd mics, a little ways away, giving us a proper echo in there. That's pretty damn cool.
I have to say, the acoustics in this arena, so good, by the way. Like, I love this this arena full. In fact, I'm gonna put the volume up to max for this one because it deserves it. Over in Shenzhen, and yes, it kind of is like the Monster Energy arena. However, it's also just very, very cool. Doombi, not Doombi. I see Rookie and I'm like, oh, Doombi's on the Rift as well. Rookie and Doombi, fantastic mid lane matchup, of course.
There were rumours actually that the Neferi actually was a Doombi special actually as well.
Yeah,
so I can see where the confusion might come in there too.
I also saw some solo queue of some players playing at top lane, particularly into tanks.
To abuse the Dark and Dagger Bleed, I can see it.
Yeah, Doombi starting with the E actually instead of the Q, going towards the Aftershock trade. Of course, the big thing about Galio is that if you get the passive, then if you get Aftershock, it increases the damage from your passive. So you go for an increased Grand Slam, and you can take some really good trades there. So not bad there from Doombi. You lose wave control, but you do that anyway. So Doombi getting decent trade there. Mid lane matchup, obviously that's the name brand value. I actually think the most important matchup on the map though is AD carry. Gala has been so ridiculously good for IG. I think he's been their best player in this portion of the competition.
For sure.
And I think that Leave has been that for a little while now for NIP on the other side. This guy has been such a revelation. He's one of our newest AD carries to the league, and he, despite a bad first entry into the LPL, he is starting to do some very special things up here.
There was a point, of course, when Uzi was saying just avoid girls for 3 years and you will be one of the greats of all time. That was the advice that the man he was supposed to be replacing gave him. Had a bit of a rough start to his journey into the LPL. Was all that internal drama and back up on NIP. Got himself on the All-Pro first team, I believe, as the AD carry in winter. Looking to continue that here in spring. He's been pretty damn good, though I don't think he's anywhere near as uncontested as AD carry at this time.
I don't think he was there because I think Jackulov was first.
You know, I'm pretty sure it was leaving. Jackie was down in like second.
I can't remember, but Jackulov was really good. So
But remember, this was pre-playoffs, remember?
True. No, that is true. You know what? I can't remember. I'm sure he's around there at some point. So, what's happening right now? Pushing lane and bot lane for NIP. Mid lane, we've seen Doombi trading pretty okay. Now, there's a hook. Cancel out on. This is why you play the Nautilus into the Leona. Mako shrugs off all the damage, actually. Means that PPK can't get himself the Shield to Daybreak afterwards if you go for the hook, and neither of you go for an auto attack after.
Well, there's a question in chat as well about what skin this is on the Jace. It's the Arcane Survivor Jace, so it's one of the skins that came out from Arcane. Shy likes to play it pretty regularly. He's got a really cool like walking animation with the hammer. He drags it behind him. Quite cool. All the while, PP God and Lee getting the shove in towards that bot side early on. Pretty good value from there. Always the easiest thing to do against Tavares, all things considered, but either way, job done. JJ will spot out the Scorch Core leaving. There is an early ward there on the Raptor respawn. I think the JJ starts up on that before he does get that reset. Looks like he will be sticking around at least for an additional camp.
The Shy pushing in on top side, of course. Oh, this time he's actually going for the Grasp. We have seen him try some different stuff. He's gone for a lot of Electrocute Jace recently. Typically,
Are pretty good at those solo objectives because of your bleed and the dogs. Very good at doing those early, which not every jungler is. And I say this as an Evelyn main, early dragons kind of suck.
Pink Slanesh messages. Goes over a white Christmas. Are you kidding me? Okay. Dragon started up, the grabs on the other side, as we've just been highlighting. Objective trade. Well, we'll see if it's a trade. I assume. Well, I mean, Leave and PP God are recalling now. They could actually rotate towards top side, but Shanji teleporting top. That.
Here we go.
Leave is still in bot side. He cancels his recall. PP God is roaming top. Mako's already here. He will. We're not gonna get. We're gonna get level 5s, I guess, off of this. Maybe PP got a little bit higher XP. First grub will go down at least to IG. We'll see if Aki wants to go for a smite steal.
I see them going down. They're on spawn, so they get one. JJ will turn back onto the Scuttle Crab. Happy to take one. Flash over the wall from BB Gold. Gets some flash in trade from Rookie, who just gets out of the Hero's entrance. And Rookie out safely. Flash for flash between support and mid. But the ult burn from Doomby could be problematic here for NIP.
And IG now get to stick guy and NIP against that wall where they can't dodge away from the skill shots. Gala is not here. Leaf is coming up, though, and it does mean that with the extra numbers committed, NIP will get 2 out of this set, despite the fact that they don't get the pick that they were looking for.
Well, when your names match your actions, I suppose it's very appropriate, because Leave leaves.
Yeah, make like NIP's bot laner and get out of here.
And split.
Sam, you never seen the Back to the Future? It's like make like a tree and get out of here. That's the whole thing. That's the reference I was going for, Sam.
Yeah.
Do you want me to tell you about 1.21 gigawatts, which is also the incorrect way to say it's 1.21. Not a scientist of any. Whatever. Okay, Shock Blast the top side.
The Shy does some damage there. I keep forgetting that the first auto actually shreds about 25% of people's armor.
Yep.
And
Depends,
magic
well, it depends on which form you're in. If you're in ranged form, yes, the first auto that comes through does shred. However, you need to change out of melee to range to do that, which means that it will normally apply on a minion. So most of the time, that only happens in very extended trades. When you go into the melee, it gives you extra damage on the hit there too. So both of them have some different values. Level 6 hit by both of our junglers. I really need to see Shanji and Aki step up. NIP, as you were saying before, oh, that's Shanji going for the ult, actually.
Decent chunk there.
Aki's on top side, no mana on the Shy. He has flash. I think Aki's looking for a kill hit.
Oh, the Shy has got a flash and a dream, and Aki has the ability to go pursuing as the hound he is, and he ain't nothing but a hound dog. And the Shy will be crying all of the time as Elvis has left the building.
Oh, man, the king of rock and roll. Rocks and rolls his way back towards the base. Wasn't covered on that top side of the map. Shanji took a good trade against him. No one was really assessing the danger there on top side. It is a double flash committed there. So Rookie loses his ult and misses a little bit of a wave in the mid lane. So still a strong win for NIP overall.
Alrighty then. So, good early start here for NIP. Nice info from JJ to at least nab some camps as a result of that trade. We'll back away from that one.
Rafa in Twitch chat saying, Aki, pelvic thrusting the Shy back to base. I mean,
You dog. Literally. Literally.
ain't nothing but a hound dog. Was that what, did you make that reference?
I did.
I completely.
That was how I got to Elvis left the building. That's how I was here. And the Shy was crying all the time.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, look.
You ain't no friend of mine anymore, Alex.
No, you're my buddy, pal. Mako, go.
That was another hound dog reference, Al. You ain't no friend of mine.
I know that one, Sam. I did get that one.
Okay.
Sam, I
Just
might.
double checking. I mean, I
Sam.
couldn't guarantee it anymore, could I?
True. Yeah. I'm gonna drop some really niche reference now points, and I will catch him out at some point.
See, I've got Raffridge. He's got me. Play-by-play minds. We do not exactly. I can bully him from multiple angles now. This is wonderful.
Yeah. Neko landing a hook on to leave. Right. So what is IG looking to leverage off? I will say immediately, not a big fan of the Rod of Ages going on to Talia. I feel like Rod of Ages Talia does so little damage. I don't like it, and particularly in a game like this, I think you want as many E's as possible. You want as much cooldown. Going towards the Rod does remove you of some of your defensive capabilities. Aki does have ult back up and could do something on bot side. Quite hard to do it against all summoners against this Varus in the Nautilus, especially with the Nautilus level 6. It was pretty hard to quickly make a play. However, with the Galio coming in, maybe they can just overload.
I think NIP is starting to feel pretty heroic here. Here comes that entrance. Comes on down. Mako does not want to make that play. Into the tower, Aki goes. Another kill over. And what on earth was that engaged? They knew Doomby was leaving.
Well, IG, I feel like they've just not reading it.
Let's have a look at this, because they know, surely they know that Doomby's coming. This is such a misplay. They even get the flash out of Mako afterwards.
I mean, Gala walks up to get hit by the Galio ult, takes even more damage, did have the flash. I wonder whether he could just gotten out of the Neferi range, but still chooses to stick around. Does trade one back, but goes on to Mako, so it's not even the Varus getting the gold.
Rough stuff there. Either way, it's a big win for NIP. Lose a wave or so mid, but I think the Galio was kind of happy enough. That got a rower of his own. 3 Dark Seal stacks over towards the Grubs. We go, and NIP are on those.
I don't care if Galio goes for lower, because he needs these kind of stats. He always benefits from having that HP. Whereas I look at rookies going towards, I mean, points down chat again. It's not just the row, it's row and the tier. This is the super slow scaling survival build. This is not about high damage and stuff like that. You don't have the Rise mana scaling or something like Caston as well. Aki's going to take the Grubs on top side. Might not be able to get all of these, but still gets forced to get the Might bonus. But I am a little worried if Jace is behind in lane, Rookie's going for a lower damage build, and also the bot lane is not, doing that much work. IG, their composition is meant to be peel back, use your range, punish NIP as they dive in. If you don't have the damage to do that, I don't think your composition works.
Look, Tille just needs to move away from the hair metal references. Rock of Ages, Rod of Ages. Do not be Def Leppard. You need to be able to hear this game. Stop that. Give me some more damage.
I mean, Def Leppard would also have problems with having both hands on the keyboard,
Very true. Okay, fun family fact. Our grandmother actually saw Def Leppard while the drummer had both arms.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know about Def Leppard, classic rock band where the drummer has one arm and they kept playing with him after he lost his arm in a motorbike crash. It's a very cool emotional story where they stuck with their friend. Very, very cool. And good music too. Hysteria, great album.
Also true.
Right, Gala pushing up this mid lane, going towards that poke Varus, and IG, typically the way we phrase this team is very good brawling mechanics, sometimes lose their head on some of the wider aspects of the game. I don't necessarily think that they've played the macro that well against a lot of our top teams. However, they are still 3-2 with a very hard to enter schedules. I don't think that they've been completely outclassed.
I think that's fair. I think NIP, at their best, have been very, very creative, but I think sometimes their drafts are not especially straightforward, should I say? They're not like plug in and play, baby. You know what I mean?
That's a Muse song.
Yeah, you made the Muse references just before this.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Which one?
It was some Hysteria Muse references.
No, Hysteria is a Def Leppard album.
I think you go for the Muse reference. Okay.
Which is also a great song, don't get me wrong, but it's also very different here.
Oops.
Man.
I will say I don't actually know that much Def Leppard.
No, me neither, but that album's good. It has pour some sugar on me. It's a very
on me.
Probably the one
in the name
people
of early onset diabetes, probably. That's a lot of sugar.
Yeah, it's a lot of sugar. It's a lot of sugar. It's gotta be
don't need that much sugar.
Very fast, very dangerous.
And then rappers doing that in chat, so he gets it. In the name of early game wins. That's what NIP is like.
Shojin completed. First item now across the board from everyone. Double Eclipse. Can you get a double Eclipse? I mean, I guess you technically could if you had multiple moon planetary alignment, but Aki and Shanji, both building up towards that, and very, very strong ability to play through the top side now. Comment in chat as well, which I do want to address because I think it's actually quite important. I think it's a good conversation, saying, I get the tankiness from IG because they're getting dove onto a lot. I understand that too. However, if they're diving onto you, yes, you need to not die, but you also need to kill them at some point too, which is a bit of the problem. They're walking towards Mako. First Q misses, gets the bleed on the second one. Not really sure they can do much here though.
Let's let the dogs of war, or at least mild discomfort. The dogs of skirmishing.
The dogs of fisticuffs.
The dogs of fisticuffs. God, I need a gentleman. I was always say a gentle lady. What would be the best way of phrasing that? Gentlewoman?
The Dame.
Yeah, exactly. Because then you get gentleman Cho'Gath. I need the equivalent for Neferi.
Yeah, Dame Neferi.
Dame Neferi.
I think that'd be great.
Just exactly. Dogs of fisticuffs. This would be amazing. Oh, this is one.
Gotta make an album called that too. Alright, they're declaring us some vision on top side. Anything else interesting up? Minutes till Harold, flash forward, eat out. Leave. Wins the skill check there.
Flash. Gets away with it, but now they can turn around. Mako in danger as the solar flag comes on down. Mako has to flash away himself. On the other side, Weaver's wall and GJ looking to get on top of PP God, who does get out to safety, but now in comes Galio with the hero's entrance to not a huge amount of avail, actually. And so the hero perhaps decides to jump in a little early. Aha! He yells. It was a bad idea.
Thing which I've been very passionate about, talked about this a lot yesterday, saying there's a fun on bot side, might have to talk about that first.
Shy eats a bit of Drake out step.
All right.
Ping.
So that's the end of that one.
Law matchup, by the way.
LPL for me is the region of cooldown economy. One of the reasons why we fight so scrappy is because we want to remove stuff like AD carry summoners, big ultimates like the Galliwall, before the big fight comes through. Now, IG, they fight to take away Ezreal Flash, PP God's Flash, Dermby's Flash, And I think IG's composition works better when no one has summoners and no one has ultimates. They have the better range for that, whereas NIP, you need to hard commit with flashes with ultimates. This is why cooldown economy is one of the biggest things in LPL. You can change the way that games are played just by removing an ultimate or two, and IG showing that skill set there.
This topside matchup actually got a lot better for Shanji than I thought it might. The Shy on the Jace is normally very, very oppressive, and it's actually down about a wave or so here towards his Ambessa, who's in a really good spot with that early kill as well. So it's not a huge lead for NIP, but it is there between the slight advantage in the Grubs and match in the Dragons. However, Shanji is still here, and there are in fact 3 members of Invictus Gaming around. And turn on towards the Dragon instead. Pipico puts down a ward and immediately backs away, spotting a number of members of the IG squad.
Yeah, I don't really think NIP wants to contest with no Galio ult and no flash on their AD carry. I think that would be too bold, really. Maybe if they get to 2 items in Ezreal, maybe it's a bit different.
Huh? Needing Italics too.
Is that because I said bold?
Yeah.
Right, that's great, Sam. Well, we'll underline that one and return to it later. No. Quick, someone just put strike through on just everything Sam says. Turret's gonna get traded. First one given over to NIP though, so feats of strength over towards the ninjas.
I love that it took you, like I saw a couple of seconds as you clarified it. Cool, moving on.
Sam, we've been streaming for, 4, 6, more than that hours a day.
Who do we appreciate?
We've been streaming a long time every day for 2 weeks solid. It's pretty easy to get a little bit tired and run out of energy. Shy takes that out of turret, equals the turrets out 1-1.
Well, the Shy is here with his squad, clearing out some roses.
NIP's slight gold lead. And, we said with this composition, they really want to be diving in and closing that gap. If they get ahead of the game, and they get, a tankier Galio, better burst combo to the slightly further ahead, you do trust them a little bit more to pull that off. And as we were saying before, Rookie maybe not going towards the build which I would like from him. I think that if you go towards, Bruiser Jace and also kind of HP stacking Talia, do you lack the damage to immediately turn around onto an Ethereal or an Ambassador? Surely, wouldn't the Xin Zhao and the Nautilus be enough to kind of save your carry in the first place? I wonder whether it's losing you some potential to turn around fights.
It's got a triple tier trough right now as well for IG, which is kind of a bit miserable. Once those items complete, slightly different story, but still a very defensive set of builds here from IG, while now down feet to strength because they lost that first turret topside as well. So things still slowly sliding towards NIP, but it is only 1,000 gold. It's nothing game-breaking as yet. It's just that it feels like NIP are that foot ahead right now. And we've got questions about IG's choices in terms of some of the builds here. It's small things. Gameplay can absolutely change that, but I think as we've not got that much else to talk about right now, that feels like a relatively valuable conversation.
I have no idea what that pop-up on NIP's team name was, but it said NIP something or other up there on the top right-hand corner. I don't know if anyone understood that, but I think.
Skulls for skulls, friends. Love for the blood gods. Corn for the cornflakes.
Yeah. Don't put water on your cereal.
Don't do that. Put blood on it.
2 items for Neferi. I think Aki's ready to fight. I think Aki's ready to fight. Particularly, walking into this game, revisiting the expectations and the needs of NIP. NIP from last split had some great moments. It's the return of Dernby to pro play, and Shanji and Aki need to stand up. They need to have a good performance. Aki, good amount of gold. How much does he get? He gets a good amount of damage onto Gala, but there's not really that much to take around the map. Still a decent looking.
Yeah, Solar Flare only got the slow there, and I've got to call it out. Bradford,
do
not encourage the addition of Pilk to cereal.
Yummy.
You've been here all of half an hour, and within that time, you two have been
spicy.
converted to the Pilk cult, and this is...
Yeah.
Don't need more of this in my life.
No, sometimes you need some carbonated berries, Sam. That's what you need. Sarah's built up by Rookie, has 9 stacks on the Rod of Ages. Herald summoned mid lane for NIP. They do have those 4 grubs to help the tower pushing. All it is a chunk. What this means now is if IG leave mid lane for any reason, NIP will take that tower maybe a wave and a half. It's still got a little bit of HP to it, of course, to defend. Rookie over the wall, trying to use that fog of war, and Rookie, his skill set as a player has always really had that strength of playing around Fog of War. Maybe the best player around Fog of War in the LPL mid lane pool.
After 5 AM my time, I become an unapologetic fiend. I see. So it's like a sort of like Rafa is in fact a gremlin of the casting world. If you sort of like feed him post about 5 AM, this is what he turns into. Pilk is like the worst possible substance to feed that man. Never get Rafa within a solid mile of goal.
Oh, PP God comes in.
On through. Heroic entrance, flashes out to safety. Now Mako turning around with the dredge line. PP God flashes out of the hail of arrows and stays alive. The TP is very deep, and Shanji is going to be hit with the depth charges. Actually, hang on. How on earth did PP God die? Must have been the Ignite bringing him down, and Shanji going to be knocked out to safety by the Crescent Guard. Staying alive for now. Has got a shield running. On the other side, JJ flashes away himself. The Crescent Guard is now off. As they send in a load of dogs, cry havoc, and let slip those dogs of skirmishing. Flash off from Rookie. Cannot land the seismic shove. Leave. Looking for some mystic shots. Is in a 1v5 and likes those odds. And they lose PP God, and that's about it. It's a skirmish, and someone finally dies.
Now, I think IG, this is what I was worried about in terms of their lack of damage. I think they could have turned around for another kill there if they had more damage onto the Talir at this point. The Rod of Ages, instead of something like the Leandries, I think, not really bringing that to the play. 20 seconds until Dragon now. A lot of cooldowns were just blown, and I do think, again, this favors IG overall. PP God looks for a play onto JJ. Of course, we do have objective spawning taken by the jungler. Very, very important. But that's not getting onto the carries. This composition does need to get onto that backline, and he does end up dying to the Ignite.
There we go. And Rafa in chat follows up on a reference I too have made in the past. I feel like all play-by-plays with a certain level of silliness get this point where they made the PP God goes flaccid joke, and it's true. Happens even to the gods amongst us. And you know, you just a little bit.
His HP pool is a little bit small. Sorry, it's his perfectly average HP pool size. As the Mounted Dragon is up, we get a pick onto a player, and Ezreal goes down with both summoners available.
Oh dear. Well, that's another kill. They managed to turn that around. It's a sole point as well. Big win for IG, and suddenly they're the ones in command of this game.
NIP walks towards the mid lane. Rookie. Oh, what the hell was that solar flare?
PP God misfires a little bit there. Could look to throw his mighty Zenith blade in and chooses not to do so. The Weaver's Wall coming across as the Shy is trading out with doing big. And the Shanji going to try and find that public execution. Lands it. The Shy managed to run away, but there's still a call of the pack. And the Hound's pursuit to send them going diving under that tower. And then continue Breakout, stepping forwards the Unraveled Earth is a little late, but the Seismic Shovel will still send them straight on over, and they will pick up Shanji. Mako now trading out with Aki. And the Nautilus will knock up the dog, who then bring the W down to keep dodging away fast as they can. Oh, those additional pack mates. And Aki will leave her brood behind and get out to sea.
Dan, you know, PP God misses with ultimate. It's just been a while. I swear it's not normally like this. PP God, yeah, sadly, just not able to land the clean pick onto Rookie, and it means
can't
that
get up in their business.
Yeah,
you know?
can't get up in their business. I'd say it's a hard. I'd say it's a hard job, but sadly for him,
really wasn't.
that would have made it actually a lot easier. As IG walk away with a very good skirmish on that top side, and NIP starting to find the problem with the compositional difference. They're the ones which are diving into a long-range disengage combination, and if they don't land that killer blow, it's a big problem. I believe what happens here is a Varasol comes out onto... it's not a great E. He gets hit by the hook and then has to E away. Leave, bad position. I don't know why he's even there.
Should have leaved.
It's great, Sam.
I didn't conjugate that properly, so it'd be funnier.
Yeah, that's wonderful, Sam. I'm happy for you.
Well, I'm glad to say we're capturing this game in a very normal, serious manner. But, you know, sometimes we've got to have some fun. We've got 202 on Rookie, who is going towards a additional Haunting Guns items. It's going to be a very bruised rebuild on this Talia, which so far, in fairness to him, has been working out kind of fine, but it's difficult to actually kill the Talia on any good timer.
Yes, I think at this point, when you start falling behind gold, and then there's also Mountain Dragons on top of it, this is when actually the HP build has started to pay dividends at this point, and that's a Varasol hitting 2. Doomby, not that tanky himself, he's got HP, no resists.
The hero will not be getting a chance to exit stage left, goes straight on down, and Varus is the villain who finds that killing blow this time around. We've got 3 minutes till the dragon, so not actually all that much to play for in that scheme of things, but we've got ourselves a Ruinous Atakan to play for, and IG just killed off the mid laner. 4v5 to work around. They don't need any pictures of Spider-Man. They can still play the Sinister 5 and try to get a hold of that additional buff.
Yeah, no, they work for the Daily Bugle, and Aki's trying to be the Daily Beagle here, I suppose, on the Neferi.
Trying to do their best as Aki will throw out some Darky Dags, not land them. Doesn't look enough like London.
I swear to God. The London building is 30 daggers.
It's the East End, that's all I'm saying.
Alright, Atakan up and available, of course, for...
Does that make the Atakan in Croydon right now?
No, I mean, if it's going to be anywhere, yeah. That was one of the funniest things. MSI in quite a nice place, but then boarded onto Croydon, which is not. Not always.
I can't remember.
It's near Stratford, right?
Yeah, Stratford.
It was East Croydon, just pretty close to it. PP God could potentially look at that wall. Doesn't have a vision there. JJ walks around the corner. He needs to be a little bit careful here.
Buddy, pal, friends. Weaverpool's going to come on in. Summon the minions! As Shanji's going to try and jumping away, but it's across the unraveled earth and will unravel his health bar. The hero enters, and again, probably regrets these choice throws. Some of the shields around, though. If you're going to turn it around, they'll get one back. The jungler is dead. Neferi with the reset comes at cost, though, as PP God is once again out for the couch. Doesn't have enough endurance, really, to stick around in these fights. It's a bit much for him, poor guy. Seismic Shove comes across and they'll bring down Leave as well. Flash away from Duanbi and Aki, trying to keep something alive and rolling. But you've lost everybody but your mid-jungle.
I mean, it started off looking pretty okay because JJ was caught out by PP God, who kind of kept things on edge for a little while, but they just couldn't finish the fight. NIP find themselves something, but it once again so hard to capitalize.
Look, IG just basically went and decided to give NIP back their bomb. You saw they went to try and jump on that one, and they couldn't finish the fight. They got jumped on, and it was a bad time. I guess that makes Rookie the master in this regards.
I'd say that's a lot of Halo dialogue. I've got to back up somehow there.
Come on.
And what would you have your jungler do? JJ walks into three people and does a really good job of turning things around. He does end up dying by diving in here, but he stops the E out from Duanbi, which means effectively the fight's out. We've said about Duanbi doesn't have enough resist on top of everything else, and it means that you have to all in beyond that to kind of stick around, and NIP pull themselves out of position and can't really do much else in the fight.
Duanbi playing Prophet of Regret this time around, went on a great journey and kind of regretted it. The rest of his minions are the ones that suffer there, really, aren't they? And he gets out, at least for a moment or two. The flood of IG will continue to be pretty devastating here, as at least the Atakan is still up and there to be played.
Yeah, so, NIP down 2,000 gold, but honestly the dragons mean more, and of course there's a soul coming up. IG, compositionally, it feels like they're very far ahead. Even though the gold has not exploded, NIP are struggling to close down the carries. And you know, while I wasn't a fan of the tank Leah, I do think that at this point with Matt and Dragons on top of it, NIP ain't killing this guy. He does have the Leandries now. He has that damage bump. Aki's coming around. I think they have to look for the smites. If they lose a Mountain Soul on top of everything else, that's game over, man.
Certainly be a rough time. Give up that Mountain Soul. Between
that sucks. That sucks so bad.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do at this point? It's a rock in a hard place, and you've already actually built Bruiser/Tank on a number of these members.
NIP brought a PP God. IG brought some protection. That's the soul.
No! No!
LPL.
Durex is a sponsor.
LPL sponsored by Durex, so are IG. I said IP. Now we're gonna get jumped on.
Anyway, here's Weaver's wall. PP God gonna go down as the hero comes entering on it. Gets a big knock-up. But again, they've got protection. So it doesn't really work, does it? They're gonna keep trying to play this one out. It's Aki to the backside. They will still continue to be a bit of a hound dog. Somebody's gonna be crying all the time. And the burn will bring him out. Maybe he should have protection, considering that one is all the while the arrows keep flying on through. It's a 2 for 2 in the end. Could have been a lot worse, really, for NIP.
I was about to say, there's been a couple of times today when we've looked at a fight and said, wow, the fight's over. I mean, it was yesterday, actually, with the Neferi turnaround from JDG in that game versus FPX. But this is another one of those games where you think, wow, okay, you know, team so far ahead, they have Mountain Soul, Triple Dragon, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't actually work out as cleanly as maybe we thought it would to. IG, we'll look back into this replay, have Triple Mountain Dragon, Mountain Soul. The tank Lear does a lot, but PP God flashes over the combination and manages to get the Ambessa into the Galio, into the Ezreal ultimate. And I don't care which universe you're from, that's gotta hurt. Everything lands onto the rookie. Doesn't matter how many HP items you build, you don't survive through a 5-man wombo combo.
I see you know your Star Wars reference as well. And they find a little more as that one went on. Revenge of the Sith as they came on in.
A succulent Shuriman meal. That's what it is from, right?
I'll let you in on a secret.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to wait for Galio to come flying on and use. Aha! No one expects the Damacian Inquisition.
That's pretty good, actually.
Wait until we get there. Just let you know that one's on the line.
There have been a lot of times this game, by the way, where somehow Palpatine returned. Somehow the Ignite.
I used that one yesterday.
Yeah, we used it a lot. Well, they didn't have to know that, so maybe people weren't around yesterday.
It's true.
Atacon is still up and available. The gold lead is within 500, so while the soul is over on IG, I still think compositionally they're ahead. But you do need to really pay respect to the fact that you have a 3-item Ambessa, you have a 3-item Galio. If they get to stick around in the fight, they will kill you eventually. It's not just completely free.
And the chains of corruption, in goes PP. God, he steals it! It's a heist! Into the back line goes Shanji with the public execution. Shielded around
Gala's
is
dead.
solid. They're going to start resetting lead. Looking to find some more mission shot on the backside of this, and despite the Mountain Soul, it means nothing before the power of the Force and NIP's damage as they get to go and claim these petals too.
IG have a triple Mountain Dragon, Mountain Soul, and they still can't win the damned team fights. Gala had Flash and gets caught out by Galio somehow in the midst of that. The team fight positioning for Invictus Gaming is not good. They are leaving their carry somehow to get burned down by daggers across the whole team. I think that the backline positioning might have just thrown this game into an NIP, well, I'm not going to say advantage, it's still against that Soul, but getting the Atakan, getting the Flowers, getting the Baron, massive swing towards NIP, a team which we were maybe convinced would fallen out of our top echelons.
And look, I hate to say it because we've been having a lot of fun this game, making jokes, having a good time. However, it has to be said as Shanji's likely going to pick off the Shy here, who gets down the solo player, buys a lot of time. There's no way out now. Maybe the Shy can take PP God with him. And does manage to do that, so that's at least something. The Shy will trade here as well, so support for that. Jace is pretty good value here, I think, in the grand scheme of things. But I was going to say is, IG have fumbled now multiple series in a row, multiple games in a row, these 20 to 25 minute team fights. It happens all the damn time.
So what the hell happens here? Part of this will be the Shred coming through from the Atacama. The Smite comes through, JJ uses his temporary frontline, it's not at the best point. Aki gets, the Shanji gets an angle onto the backline, and Gala walks into the Galio. I mean, what else can you say about that? Gala has Flash, gets hit by the Ambassador, yes, that's scary, but then walks into the Galio and does nothing else for the rest of the fight. The Shy is not in a place to really do damage onto the important people either, and IG's backline gets shredded.
Yeah.
Gala was, I think he was, he's had such a good start. He wasn't the AD carry of the week, I think it was Hope actually, and I think Hope might have even got away with player of the week. But
it wasn't those meddling kids.
Yeah, if there weren't those meddling kids, man. Oh, man, well, IG have Scooby done messed up? I don't know, I don't really have a great segue in for that one. NIP now can fight over the Elder Dragon if they want. They have the Atakan to buff up their one dragon, and of course the 4 grubs they have too, so they have a little bit more tower killing potential. And I seriously wonder now what would have happened if Rookie was in a higher damage to Lear, if we'd had, you know, him positioning better, going towards an early Landry, skipping the Rod of Ages and going towards something else. I particularly, the Rod of Ages build, I don't mind it. If you're on something like Victor and you're playing Battle Victor and you're using your ability to just strut up them and get multiple Qs, that's fine. Talia never really uses this build that well, because often you want to be in a position where you're not like throwing yourself into melee range anyway, especially in a composition like this. I wonder whether IG are going to run out of damage, despite the fact that NIP are playing against a triple Mountain Dragon, Mountain Soul, and I've said that way too many times this game, but I wonder whether NIP, if they get into the melee range of the carries, they just win the DPS race.
It'll be interesting to track on the Star Wars battle. So this is the Bootery Classic. Whether Anakin can make that late game race win happen. We've got 5 seconds on Elder Dragon, and IG need to play this well.
They do. On the other side, though, a huge shout out to Shanji and Aki, the players which I had most questions about on NIP. I think Shanji might even be my player of the game so far. Pinpied ultimates onto the backline. On a champion he has not been succeeding on in this year so far. I believe actually had a game against the Shy, maybe we went 1 and 8 or something. Another hook onto Leaf, you ease away from it. Problem with this level of the Ezreal is that you get an E up every few seconds, especially with the Shojin giving you so much cooldown. Elder up and available. Poke battle ensues.
Friends, countrymen, LPL enjoyers, lend me your eyes. We've got an Elder Dragon coming on up, and the Julius Caesar references will continue. Especially when we've got something like this Neferi to be making reference to. Here we go.
IG playing the actual poke battle. This is something that they could have done for... Oh, hang on a second. Rookie's going to find Shanji. That's important. But no, IG, of course, Rookie playing against his team from last year too, lest we forget. He was the guy that carried NIP for so long. Durnbeat coming into this team now after a couple of years away, trying to do something special for this team. Rookie returned home to Invictus Gaming. NIP choose not to stand off with the poke, and I think that makes some sense. You're not going to be able to poke back against the Mountain Soul. Can IG get enough chunk down with their hail of arrows, with their piercing arrows to make a difference?
Got that Mountain Soul to work with. We've already talked about that, and this poke is landing. A slower fight means PP got down for about 20% HP. The Weaver's Wall is good. Into the backline, there goes Shanji. Brings Doomby in with him. The hero's entrance with a massive knock-up again. Trying to buy damage. Shanji so desperately low. Will finally fall. Invictus Gaming looking like a good fight. They'll cry havoc and let slip the Dogs of War. But they were waiting to try and put Aki in the kennel. He survives for now. Dodges that dredge side. Lead also desperately trying to place one out. IG though desperately low. Lead. Can he pull off a miracle? It's a 2v4. And Aki is still rolling. Howl to the moon, baby. Werewolves in the river. And they've not those silver bullets this time around. Leave throwing out another Mystic Shot or two, but they've gotten everybody they could ask for.
And I think with these two alive, NIP have just clutched out the Elder fight. Somehow Shanji manages to get an angle into the backline again. Doesn't matter that the Ambessa dies. NIP will get themselves a huge team fight because the Galio is delivered into the backline and Leave and Aki can go absolutely rampant. Elder Dragon on 2 for NIP and IG fumble a late game fight.
I need to look at this again because it was a wild fight. I honestly thought after the poke was landing, it was looking pretty hard.
It was, because PP got us on solo HP. You think, well, that's the end of it. Great Ambessa ultimate. Yes, the Ambessa dies, but the Galio's into the backline. You've used up the Shinzao ultimate and also the Talir E as well. It's a free fight for the Ezreal and the Neferi after this point. Durnby gets himself a lot of value, but the NIP's diving frontliners and starters know that as long as they blow enough cooldowns, there's enough ability to flash out, rather like just continue the DPS race after that. Aki's damage is absolutely disgusting. Gets the bleed down, and they manage to clean up.
Leave just dances on the edge so well here. Great barrier use. Aki as well. It's really, really good. I genuinely thought Aki was done for that fight, and he's just not.
It's another fight as well where you have to question Rookie's build. He does no damage on this. Went for the Crit Bloom over the Void Staff as well. No, not that much magic resist on the other side, but you do get lower and lower AP. This Talir, you know, a pick which Rookie used to such success on NIP. It was the Ari Talir Aurelion Soul that Rookie used to carry NIP to a 4th place finish in spring of 2024 against all odds for a team that felt like they were down and out. His Talir now is looking very toothless against NIP.
Mind as well, NIP were the team that picked up the Atakan buff, and they got Elder on top of that. Leave will be really stinging. Never mind if Aki goes in as well. Watch for the Dark and Dagger bleed. Watch for these Mystic Shots at 4 items for this Ezreal.
I'll Leave with such a big carry NIP. With the Elder up and available on that Ezreal. Oh, he's caught though.
Just about over the wall. They get Baron, but it's left PP God out to the Wolves. Got a few of their own to work with those. Doomby goes heroic entrancing. The Hound's pursuit goes around the shy. Perhaps should have been a bit more cowardly. Gara to the backside. Once again, cry havoc and let slip the Dogs of Warfare. Rookie will once again try and survive the seismic shove away, but Aki does not give a damn. The burn, the bleed. He goes down as well.
Aki does Neferi things. Certified Neferi moment. Gets a huge amount of value as one of 2 people with the Elder Dragon still active. And NIP will walk away with the Baron on a couple of members and manage to break the base.
They will just surely end it here. Rookie alone must do his best to clear this one out. But it is 2v1 for the moment. Can Rookie do something to clear this out?
No, I don't think this is the end of the game. The Elder Dragon is worn off, and I suppose you do have the ultimate, but this is still the tanky Talir with a Mountain Soul, so it's not the end of the game. But IG have thrown what seemed to be a done game. Once around the Atakan, once around the Dragon, and then again around the Baron. 3 objective fights in a row where NIP have bluntly just been playing so much better around their composition. IG failing to get that much value around their poke composition, and IG choose to fight against the Drags of the Elder Dragon. They use a lot of their cooldowns, and there's nothing left for the Neferi. You know, the Shy gets caught out on the side. I suppose he's looking for poke angles, but you've used your Talir E, you've used your Nautilus combo here too, and Aki hasn't been hit by any of it. That is a Neferi at level 18 with an Elder Dragon. That is the most dangerous person on the Rift, bar none. You must pay attention to this Neferi, and IG do not pay their respects.
I mean, this doggo is so damn scary. The bleed afterwards as well. That is a 10k damage fight for Neferi alone.
Elder Dragon definitely helping in that. That tree damage, yep, that's added some onto it, even without the Elder. Careful with that, Sam. Dropping a coaster onto the floor.
Stop my coffee, what can I say?
Just put it on the damn desktop. Let's just move that. Put it on the desktop. It's fine, Sam. I'm not gonna get on your ass for that one. All right, full build Neferi now. Has a Guardian Angel. There's a Medjais for Durnby as well, who has himself a lot of damage on this version of the Galio. IG, they had all the dragons earlier. They had themselves the Soul. I don't think they have the damage. This was my worry. You've gone for a more of a bruise. You went for, you know, the Shojin Jace. He actually has damage now, but it hasn't really been that apparent, sadly, to him. The Talia, low damage. Gala, not able to actually stand and fight in the way that they want. IG, I thought this composition was going to work well. I thought NIP, oh, that's a catch on PP God.
There's no heroic entrance coming till just now. Actually, might get a bit of a knock up there, but still Weaver's walls to work with, and now doing be caught amidst many, but into the backline going Shanji with that public execution. Knock up on JJ, who is bouncing around, gets to W to buy a bit of time, flashes away, the GA not popped, but IG hold the line to edge line, just shy on leave. Far side alteration will spot out leave, and they do kill off 3 members there. IG hold the line.
A better team fight than IG have found for pretty much all of this late game. NIP, they rush to the defense of their support, but they can't actually get the kills onto the carries this time. They don't lose the GA on Aki. I suppose that's a bonus for them. Hang on a second. These are 40-second death timers. This is a teleport into the mid lane. IG, they do have the Mountain Soul to keep forcing fights. They don't have the grubs, but they have a lot of ability to hit towers with lethality.
Keep looking, there's a lot of dogs, but Aki doesn't have a flash, doesn't have an ultimate, does have a GA, but it means he can't really go into the backside and leave, and Aki have to hold the line. No true shot barrage for easy wave clear either from this Ezreal. PP got back up and available, can at least get an inhibitor, and they'll back away with that.
Yes, and they'll now have a chance to reset and go towards the Elder, which is spawning in a minute. 2 Elder game. NIP, are they clean? No. Are they entertaining as hell to watch? Yeah, definitely they are. In the home arena, only their 3rd series here. Up in Group Ascend versus Invictus Gaming and their super team, which they constructed for this year.
A little bit of a chunk into the mid lane here. Shy and Rookie together. Duo, possibly the most legendary top mid duo of all time. Back together, fighting with their backs against the wall somehow, despite the mid game, and over we go as NIP try to find ingress into the ring.
IG want to use that ranged advantage. Now that's a good Ezreal up, but it's into the Mountain Soul. That'll regen at some point. Their range means a much less. JJ, again, Mountain Soul removed. Mako, that too, leaves hitting skill shots. It just matters less. Where is the range advantage from IG? Land some skill shots, and that'll start to really work things in their favor.
Flash, Zenith Blade to the backside. Heroic entrance after the jump again. Jace is dead. The man of tomorrow dies today. The Crescent Guard from JJ buys time. Right time just shy of leave, who spaces it well. Man advantage, but the health bar's not fantastic for NIP. They can look to go back towards this Elder, looking to fight around the mid lane control. IG threatening a run down mid lane.
Wonderful engage by PP God, stops the range advantage from IG, kind of just ending this game. You still have the Varus alive with Guardian Angel, same with JJ. You have a 5,000 gold advantage on your Neferi, but will that matter? Rookie could, well, he doesn't have the ultimate now, but if he had it up, he could have gone for that backdoor, and we have ourselves a 4v5 around the Elder.
Smites up on both teams. TP back in, looking to play this one out. Will reset the dragon. Go over the wall. Aki hops over with the Eviscerate, looking for Mystic Shot. Lands a little bit onto Gala. That's 20% of his HP bar down. PP God once again goes forward. It's onto Mako, who doesn't really care all that much right now. Rookie looking to throw out Threaded Volley after Threaded Volley lands a seismic shove. They've killed off PP God. Chunk onto Shanji, buying some time. The shields are good. Elder down to 2k HP. Need the spot. Secured by JJ. What a wonderful steal! And now 2B, this Demacian statue crumbles. It's iconoclasm. And you heard it all before. Behold my wonders and despair. There's nothing left of the Empire of NIP. They lose everybody but Shanji.
12,000 damage from Gala will bring Invictus Gaming over the finish line. It is Nexus to Nexus. It is on the edge of your seat. NIP, and only their 3rd series in Group Ascend, looking to prove they belong at the top. It has been such a hard fought couple of series for them, and IG looking to gain the lead against them in this one.
We'll show you fear and a handful of bloody dust. It takes them all the way to 44 minutes. Shanji's desperately trying to hold on and clear the wave. Cannot do it. It's a wasteland out here. And IG will finally end game 1. You've got to imagine there's nothing left NIP can do. We are left with absolute cinema.
It comes down to 2 Elder Dragons. Not even the first could end out our game, even with IG. With the Mountain Dragon, the Mountain Soul, 3 Mountain Dragons. And what we see seems to be a compositional advantage. Could not close that out. I actually wonder what this game says more, who this game says more about. The fact that IG had the advantage, or the fact that they damn near lost with it. NIP turning up to play, but couldn't win that first game.
How has he done it again? JJ over the last few series has done some absolutely criminal things to steal objectives. Gets the Elder Dragon there. I still remember his Lee Sin still on the Baron from a week or so ago. That was utterly unreal as well. Welcome, guys. This is the post-Game 1 support group for all LPL enjoys between NIP and Invictus Gaming. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm an NIP and IG watcher, and I am traumatized by that.
Hello, my name's Nymaera. I'm an NIP and IG watcher, and also an IG versus Top Esports watcher, and also an NIP versus JDG watcher, and I have very little left in me. Folks, this is what we've come to see from our top teams here in the LPL. And NIP, we are having that question, much like we have with Weibo. Do they deserve to be... do they deserve to be known as a top team? Because it's a question mark at this point. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And look, I mean, NIP, I think that they found some really good engages. I actually think that Shanji had a hell of a game there on the Ambessa. I feel like he really almost carried that game on the Ambessa. For a player that's been so maligned on it, I think Aki, a player which I've also had a lot of question marks about, actually the top jungle, arguably the best performance here from NIP.
Why aren't my favorite teams normal? Baby Rage says, Fairy Tale Mute. Can
you explain to me how... By the way, we don't say map, we say game, by the way, Musu, over in Onivia's chat, because we only have one map we play on here in League of Legends. But how did they lose that game with that advantage?
Good question.
Well, IG were the ones with the advantage, and they almost lost without themselves, so... I'd say actually it's more about IG almost losing it, actually, the way that they almost came back into it. I know, well, you know, even though PP God had a really good pick off onto the Jace at the start of that fight, that's foreplay, and they couldn't see that, couldn't come up with anything more creative after that. Thank you, Omnigo, for the comments as well. Do you need a break for anything, Sam?
I could probably just do something like a little bit to soothe the throat after yelling my brains out. I will stick the kettle on for something teapot related.
I have stuff.
Cool, that's fine. I will take my empty coffee can with me.
Yeah. By the way, I basically at the point, like, this sticks to the coaster, it doesn't stick to here. So I removed the coaster from there, so you wouldn't drop it from the suction thing. I moved... No, I know that, Sam, but I also... You know what I dislike more? You clattering with the coaster, dropping your drink onto important electronic kit.
Mako was hovering the Poppy last game as well. Would be a bit of an engage option. Can deal with some of the dashes like this Rel, like this Corki, and of course the Aurora as well. So they will decide to lock that one in. A lot of good... Almost the point and click's the wrong term, but like the really snap engages with the flash wall stuns. Add a shockwave on top because you can be a decent ball carrier. And the combo not awful there from IG. Helps set up for that Skarner whose ult can sometimes be a little more setup depending on team comp.
So, full composition's locked in. Front line, strong with both the Skarner and the Scion locked in, one on either side. Better consistent damage from NIP. I think the lanes from IG are the things which will carry them less. Revamped and onto the Rift, and with those wonderful acoustics, we'll hear some gyros.
Wonderful reverb. Really gives a sense to the scale, doesn't it? Ah, League of Legends in China. Always a fun thing. That's an interesting graph. Alex, 56% win chance to NIP for most of the game.
I mean, this is through computer modeling. That doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with it. I think IG have winning lane top lane. I think they have winning lane mid lane. I think bot lane MF, a very dominant champion, although I think the Corki Rel will be fine. And also, it's not an obvious mid-jungle duo for the Lilia and the Aurora. They have no point-and-click CC there. So NIP maybe struggling a little bit until PP God unlocks himself from that duo. I think IG, with their laning prowess, with their strength and their brawn, I look nameplates on, and I don't mind IG's early game comp here from their lanes.
Valid rebuttal there from my analyst. I think he makes some good points. Though Invade here, level 1, gets through a passive or two. And Chunk's rookie down about half HP, has some pots to roll with, but that's not a great level 1, it has to be said for the Ori.
Invade got himself the electrocute, starting with that E. Managed to disengage a little bit there too, because Rookie couldn't quite get himself the clockwork wind-up. And that burst trade, so nasty at the first phase of the game. One of the biggest things about electrocute was that it was buffed at pretty much all stages of the game. Cooldown and that damage. Level 1 actually going okay towards leaving PP God here in the bot lane too.
Of course, it's this Rel Corky bot lane where between the Gatling gun and the passive from the mold break, you can do a lot of work as shredding resist on people like, say, this Poppy who maybe oversteps and you start turning it around, and on the escape, poor old Poppy, even with Aftershock, can get shredded on out by the likes of a Corky. But the barrier at level 1, slightly problematic there from Leave. And it is Gala and Mako who hit the level 2, and you said, look, the early lane prio going to be there for the Renekton, probably for this Moist Fortune too. For all, the Orianna took an ugly train, and as a result, Doomby's got a good shove on in there. Still an okay start here for IG, at least in their sidings.
This Renekton into the Scion is a very key matchup for IG, because this Renekton will slaughter the Scion until something impacts that game or we get into the first fights of the game. See in mid lane, you know, Rookie Doomby just clearing out waves right now. Doomby, I don't think it has the easiest game as the Aurora this game either, because there's no, like, easy setup until the Rel kind of comes into play. You don't have that from the jungle. Typically, we see via Aurora if it's going to happen. Ooh, good knock, good stop by Mako there. I think PP God thought he'd get the free stun into that. Obviously not to be the case there.
Also means Mako hasn't leveled the heroic charge at level 2. Went for that steadfast presence. And of course, Hammer Shock, I believe, is the cue. Always have to second guess myself on that one, but either way. Puts a big print on the ground, courtesy of a lollipop. Now looking to come crashing on down, goes full tilt, gets the mount up. Mako now in danger, flash for the heroic charge in turn. Mako! Gorgeous moment. Leave trying to flash away, gets into the alcove, but the gaming is just not strong enough. Aki now down here, looking to swell Cedo, misses Gala, but Gala is left out to the Wolves, or I suppose the Deers in this case. The Wolves were last game, and Aki picks up a return kill.
So Lilia gets gold. That is not good for IG. Even with a lead in bot lane, they're going to be losing a wave here. PP God does have flash, but I don't think he'll one-shot here. Save for the last 200 HP. Shy control over the top side. IG, we did say that 2v2 looking pretty strong. Now empowered Q there from the Shy.
Ow.
It's nasty stuff.
It's going to be alright. Got the grass proc. I wondered there for a second how long the Shy's cooldown was going to be on a Q, but Leave has roamed up here nice and early. Of course, the lane swap mechanics have all now switched off. So Leave on this reset can come on up here and clear out this wave. The Shy can't get quite in range. I think it's a big fast bomb trade, but the level 5 comes on through. Should be able to reset himself relatively freely.
Leave will just make sure he delays the reset. Certainly level 3 Corky, so can't do that much in terms of actually threatening the Renekton. And now we get to see, with the lane swap mechanics off, whether the lane assignment will save Shanji a little bit of hurt in that top side. So really good flash angle from Mako onto Leave. And Gala gets that cleanup. And then they just go a little too far, not tracking where Aki was on the map. They do get the 2v2 kill, but, you know, as we said, because Lilia gets the gold, I think Lilia is the kind of champion with the X Factor to win this game. Kind of 1v9 for NIP. Not great for IG.
Worth noting as well, Mako, no Hex Flash on this particular Poppy variant, and Gala down his Flash as well. Means there is some vulnerability down there, assuming Aki can find their way back, or perhaps Doomby finds a good row. See how that all works out. We have got that continual lane swap with Gala. Just going straight back down towards this bot side. Happy to play the pseudo lane swap at this point. Probably means NIP looking at these grubs spawning in 45 odd seconds would be my imagination considering lane assignments.
Yeah, so the Shy up on this top side. I mean, if the Shy gets towards level 6, you'd rather actually have the Renekton level 6 there even than the bullet time MF. The first dominance of the game is so important. It's one of the reasons why in the Herald meta things were so nice. Jeja could get a wraparound here. No flash on Leave. That could be a problem.
Damage Leave will be doing just that for the afterlife.
Doubly stopped the Valkyrie. That meant there was absolutely no way out. Pushing up to try and get that grub spawn, but much better early game for IG than I think potentially. Well, no, the last one was actually okay to think about, but still a good early game for IG. And with the kill going to the Renekton, which is a champion that can absolutely snowball ahead of that Scion and keep him down for pretty much the whole game, that's very good for IG.
Can you get to a first item Black Cleaver? Yes or no? You do, and suddenly all that armor stacking that the Scion does means very little in the face of Renekton just getting through a full combo with the empowered W and the likes. So the Shy gets to shove the wave on it. Leave will Valkyrie back on towards the top side, and come back towards the mortal plane from his brief sojourn in Valhalla. Took me a second to remember the name of that particular afterlife. Aki, though, will claim out this dragon on the other side. So we'll be afraid of neutral objectives, at least, even if the additional kill favours IG in the grand scheme of things.
I will say, though, when it comes to getting grubs, Renekton really nasty into the Sion matchup when it finally gets around to that side lanes. Because what happens is Sion tries to wave clear, and Renekton will force him to go under turret, and then walk past the Sion and hit demolish on the turret anyway, so it's not the nicest thing. It's also grasp Renekton, by the way, worth knowing.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't actually notice that at first. It's not the Conqueror, but going really for lane dominance, saying, look, I'm going to make your life very, very bad, Mr. Sion.
Also, I think makes him a little bit tankier in the team fights. The Conqueror, of course, healing is really nice, but I think when you're into quite a lot of upfront burst and things like the sleep, just having a bit more HP to work with on that upfront burst, I can see some value there if you're asking to play a little bit more frontliney later on.
Hang on, Rookie could be in a bit of trouble here.
That's that swell seed. They'll stick him to sleep, and Rookie goes straight on down to Aki with the watch out. Eat eviscerates enemy player.
Mako was in the area. I think he thought he was safe, but doesn't flash out in that swell seed. I think he probably would have died anyway. Skull Crab taken by IG. Kill goes over to Aki. Again, a player that we've criticized a lot recently. Getting 2 kills on the premier jungle carry of the moment. Besides that, Neferi in the LPL. A lot of value.
Shy pops to Dominus. I'm currently sipping tea. We'll see whether someone spills it. There goes the decimating flash, just to run away, I think.
So when you said that, I thought you went, pick up the play-by-play, Alex, as the cannon is said. Like, I'm going to be... it's like, yeah, I'm gonna sip tea.
That would have been the correct choice.
Yeah, it would have been actually. You know, sometimes Sam, you're gonna have to believe in me to pick up the ball. It's the older brother syndrome, I tell you. It's actually pretty good normally. I'm just being for the sake of it. Aki,
It's a brother thing.
It is a brother thing. Yeah, we are truly the tea bros here today.
Very true. What tea are you drinking?
Not drinking tea, so well, the one of us
We're
has
not
the
the tea bros,
No,
are we?
damn, we're not truly the tea bros.
Wow.
I've just lied. I've spread misinformation. Spread misinformation. I've done
How it feels when you spread misinformation on the internet.
how it feels to chew 5 gum. Shandy taking an okay trade up here. I will say, I actually think I will push back a little bit in saying the tankiness team fight the grass, because one of the biggest tankiness bits of Renekton is popping Dominus, stacking up the Conqueror so quickly that actually you get more sustain that we do extra HP from the grass, because you get that empowered Q with Conqueror running onto a couple of players, you heal so much, you get a lot of value into your extended plays later on in the game.
I guess we've got a little bit of Valkyrie forwards. I don't think it's going to lead to too much here. So
Go on.
I guess my thought process was, and I'm curious as to what you think on this, because obviously you've got things like the Aurora Burst, the Corki Burst, the Lilting Lullaby coming on through, where the extra HP helps against the upfront burst, even if in the extended trades Conqueror healing would normally be really good.
You get to a point in the late game, that's not going to help at all.
Fair.
It doesn't actually help you that much. Grasp is, it's good for your early laning phase to get that extra power on that. I still think Conqueror or Press the attack much better on Renekton because you stack it up so quickly, particularly the empowered W, because it's 3 empowered auto attacks in very quick succession. Almost instant stack Conqueror with that. And that's why we've never seen Grasp Renekton before. Like, throw it out there. We've never seen it before for good reason.
That's fair. No, I hear that reasoning, and I completely understand it. It was more me going, I wonder whether this is why.
I have to say, though, this is the kind of thing which I expect to see Aragon, who is obviously kind of like notable.
Knows the breakpoints better, yeah.
He is the notable Renekton main out of kind of like the broadcast scene. I would like to get his opinion on that as, yeah, I mean, it does give you, maybe it gives you, I wonder whether it's because you didn't want the precision runes as the minor ones, because means he's not around to engage around the objective. The reminder, NIP, their most consistent engage is that Rel combo.
Mako needs to back away, burn the ignite, but nothing else really to Invade. He's a little wary of the wall, and so IG will pick up a dragon, so we end up with a sort of even trade in the early game with 3 grubs and a dragon apiece.
Yeah, but while all this is happening, the Shy is not actually ahead of Shanji, and I do wonder whether it's because he just forgot to change runes. I do wonder about that, because the Renekton should be getting very far ahead of the Scion. The Scion should not be able to lane. Yes, there was that lane swap, but the Shy wasn't dropping farm while that was happening. Actually pulling out the ult onto Mako, who was caught recalling in a bush.
Stops the Keeper's verdict. Another Swell Seed comes on down. Look for some more damage between worlds. Mako now desperately low. Can look for some more damage. Another auto would get that passive down. Lilia secures it with that Dream Dust. The Shy with the dominance rolling, trying to do what they can. Will stun up one, slice, dice, and should escape the Swell Seed. Not quite able to get over the back of the minion wave, and so the Shy does survive.
And IP get themselves their first step towards the feats, get the first 3 kills, even on all other things, by the way. First tower, of course, would come into that now. Which is a bit of an even race across the board. NIP walking to the bot side jungle. You get all of the camps. This is, with a 3-kill Lilia, I'm thinking NIP are in a very strong position. We could be in for, I mean, obviously it's too early to call it, very early in that gold, but if NIP, with one of their most struggling players in Aki, getting a lead like that, it starts to get ahead. This could be looking like a game 3. The Shy doesn't have dominance now. He's looking to clear out the wave in bot side. Does get out under that turret. He's happy with that. Mako returns to the bot side. Top lane turret not getting wave cleared right now by NIP. So energy right now uncontested in their tower push. Janji clearing it out now. Rookie does have a shield on him, so he did get those extra resists. The Shy clearing out on the other side. Game slows down a little bit. I am so afraid for IG about playing around this Lilia. The first pick, the first pick Lilia is so important here in the LPL. So many of our junglers making great use of it, and with this amount of gold on the other side, a team that's meant to be early game focused, not getting an early game lead. I'm worried for IG.
Again, like for all we kind of had these conversations about like IG. Actually, I quite like how they play out these early lanes. I like how some of these burst moments in the team fights go early on before it gets a bit later. We did see some of the statistical modeling saying actually if it does get towards the mid game, some of this comp feels pretty good as we go on, especially when you get leads like this on the Lilia that's been so potent. The Slayer's Roar to interrupt Rookie as well. Very obnoxious, who again is building towards this Roa Seras build. It feels like the default for nearly any AP builder in mid lane right now.
I mean, yeah, doesn't mean it's good. I don't know, man. I think particularly for IGs, you don't have DPS. You don't. I mean, like, the Renekton is bursty in early game. The Orianna is mainly about the Shockwave, even though in the past she has been DPS. The Misfortune is about the bullet time. You need to make sure you are getting the most out of that burst, because you're not going to get that DPS, even with the extra HP to brawl a little bit more. Derby has Pembers walking towards him, but he does have PP God and Aki in the wings.
Doomby went across the Veil, and IG were like, yeah, I kind of want to make sure you stay on that side, and they went looking for him. Can't quite do it. Back away for now, but they're going to try and play for this tier 1. This would be feats of strength. It is an auto, 2 away from falling, but IG here in enough force, I think, to dissuade it. 2 minutes until Ocean Dragon spawns. 30 seconds until Herald. Might be another consideration, though, and do I get a moment to do a dramatic reading of Rafa's goodbye post? You know what? I kind of think we do. Right, we're getting close. Gamers, my biological clock has run its course, and my bed is looking as voluptuous as clouds of freshly made bayonets topped with the sweetest powdered sugar.
That's wonderful, Sam. I apologize for anyone who was... yeah, good night, Rafa. You know what? You can make what you want of that. Give us your feedback. I didn't say anything to Sam. Double Swell Seed hits mid lane. I don't think that's actually going to lead to the ult being pulled. Herald getting started by Skarner on the top side.
I'm glad you enjoyed that, Rafa. I'm not gonna lay that one out. That one could stay in chat.
Yeah. Alright, so IG, bad terrain for them. They have their backs against the wall. How good is this first bullet time of the game going to be? The Shy on half HP.
Well, look to make it like Mr. Incredible and finds a time, but the Shockwave going to deny Lee from finding a good combo. The Shockwave was okay to find some time alongside that Magastorm, but the rest of NIP kind of falling away here. They lost 2, including that Lilia, the flash away, and IG finding a moment, decimating smash over the wall, not going to land on anyone, as that ends up as a bit of a weird old skirmish. Both junglers dead.
Most key moment there was JJ getting Aki out of the fight early. He didn't have that flash. That flash wall stun going into the Impale pretty much won that fight immediately from IG. JJ, good moments. Even though if he goes down, they still win that fight. The Herald is taken and picked up by Gala. So, I mean, we'll watch through this again. biggest moment. Flash wall stun onto Gaki. He doesn't have himself the ability to escape that. Double wall stun into the empowered W from the Shy. Instantly dead, and that 3-kill Lilia taken out of the play. Shockwave stops Lee from able to follow up massively. It's not the kill onto Rookie as well, but still, IG take the Herald, take a couple of kills. This is good for them. This is their power spike. They need to be getting value out of this moment in the game.
Despite what looked like a pretty good Magnet Storm, there wasn't that much follow-up. Now IG find themselves with an important win there. Worth noting, of course, they now get the objective feat of strength. Now it's whoever gets first turret that will secure those upgraded boots.
And I think NIP will get that. They can either choose to stay top lane, which Shanji can do, or bot lane, which is only a couple of hits. I think Leave might just stick to do that. So NIP will give up the dragon for the feats of strength. It looks like bot lane turret killed. NIP will get that. It's a small bonus, but a welcome one. IG up to 2 dragons.
It's Maurice, ours lover of the feet. Get those ones out.
You know, sometimes you have an appreciation for them, Sam, and I'm not here to judge.
That's fair. That's not our job. That's not our role. That's the internet's job.
Yep. Who am I to judge people doing questionable things on the internet? We've all been there. The Shy, still even in gold with the sign. I've got to say, Shanji doing. I mean, I think it's kind of a mistake for Shy not going towards the Conqueror, which means you're pretty much unbeatable by tanks in a long straight. Shanji's been doing very well in that matchup, knowing that the Shy doesn't have the best runes for that. At this point, I just think it's a mistake by the Shy. I don't think he's actually got that much value out of this. And he's even in gold with that Scion, which is, of course, going to get worse and worse as the game goes on, because you're an early game champion. Scion definitely scales better.
So, Rookie sat in a bush, started to attack it with a big ball. The wave, that is, to clarify. As Shanji goes looking for a decimating smash, and the Shy bounces up into the sky very briefly. Like, jumps on vaguely in the mid lane. I'm not sure how aggressively NIP want to play this. The upheaval bottle just goes wide. And I'm not really seeing all that much action right now.
We're about to get towards second item for Gala. He's going towards that Lord Dominic's regards most likely. I think that's where the game could turn about. They Gala Maker are on visions, whilst he's going to miss. No objective to fight around, but of course we could just look for random picks at different moments. I think if Gala gets towards the second item, I think that's when AIG are probably at their strongest in this game.
Yeah.
Or like that's the last power spike I think which they can really leverage against NIP. I think on the other side, you know, Lilia's about to get towards full Zhonya's, has the Seekers already, can actually stop off on that and look to go towards the second item besides the Zhonya's, save the gold. And of course you have Corki about to hit 2 IPs as well. Alright, this is the strongest that IG are probably going to be unless they get a big game and start to really snowball. They're not actually ahead in terms of gold. And again, IP, they feel pretty good. You have the Leandri's picked up by the Aurora. I mean, Aurora of this build. I don't like the Rod of Ages. I've talked about that enough, really. But NIP, they just need to not get blasted by a bullet time in this power spike.
And at least when you've got the double Leandries into a lot of HP stackers between the Skarner and the Renekton and the Poppy to an extent as well, the Leandri's burn does become relatively valuable for those longer fights. Win percentage as it stands, pretty good for IG. Probably because they've got that Spike as Mako. Going to be sent to sleep briefly, and the Lollipoppy might well be a sweet dessert over for the side of NIP. They can't secure the kill. That's a relatively big set of cooldowns to use to only get half of Poppy's HP bar.
Yeah, and he still has the Poppy ultimate, can hold that. Didn't panic throw it, which I think is important. Herald goes into mid lane, takes half of that. Of course, can be important. Means that if NIP now leave to go get a Dragon or Atakan or something like that, chances are someone can make some difference after that. Of course, remember, anti-tank capability from Gala has come in now, has that Lord Dominic's regards. Sion does need to be careful.
Gala, of course, with that Bloodthirster completed alongside it, is actually pretty happy to stand and deliver against a lot of members here, assuming that shield is in. Keeps the strut movement speed up in particular.
I can't believe that Rookie's going towards the Seraphs as well, man. Dude, I know that you'll need to survive against, like, the Lilia damage and bits of that, but I feel like you've got to do some damage too. Leaving Gala to beat all of the damage as a misfortune, which is not good as a primary damage carry, especially in terms of DPS. Very, very risky. All right. Tower taken on the top side. The Shy does get something out of that. He's also about to hit probably his strongest point in the game, looking towards a Stride Breaker second from the looks of it with that build. IG need to strike at this next dragon, or I do think that NIP will just outscale them.
Wave being traded back and forth. Welcome to a game of ping pong there. Over towards this dragon setup we go. There's a good ward there from NIP. Just over that wall, there is a decent teleport angle for someone like Doomby. Coming into the dragon in about a minute. IG looking to shove up towards this bot side. It's a tower apiece right now. Scuttle Crab secured. And that ward in that Tribrush going to time out relatively shortly. Doomby potentially at risk here, but they've got a little bit of support incoming.
It's very hard to catch an Aurora out in a side lane like this. With the HP build, you're not going to kill him quickly. You can use that ult to go back into his own side of the map. Very hard to catch out that Aurora. So things are slowing down. 2 items again, as we were saying, coming in for most members across the map now. Leave about to finish off the Muramano. It will kind of transform on the next auto attack. And we've also got Shanji getting tankier and tankier with that passive of the Soul Furnace. Stacking up 2. JJ's gone for the Zeke's, by the way, which is a pretty good mixed resist item. Has good flat damage burn as well if he ends up ulting someone, which can actually be quite important at some points. He's just like, look, God, we need some damage. Give me my damage. And the Zeke's gives him some of that, I suppose. 10 seconds till the Dragon. I think if obviously you get the Ocean Soul, things change. Dragon win con can be so important. Shanji needs to be careful of Gala.
Stride Breaker just got completed by the Shy as well, so a lot of pick onto people like this Corki, even this Lilia and Aurora, can lock them down. That move speed discrepancy could be valuable.
Just said that Shanji needs to be careful of the Misfortune. Not necessarily sure that's true looking at the damage check coming through. Shanji is not taking damage, and IG, without a Leandri's on Rookie, yeah, that's not going to help you either, is it? It doesn't do damage. Rookie doesn't do damage.
Shield, yeah.
This is the problem with these Roa builds, which Rookie has been so obsessed with. You do so little damage to the front line.
2,500 HP at least, but that's about it. Stay alive. Do more rotations. Swell Seed lands onto 2. Onto the front line. Not necessarily the easiest target. It times out. Dragon started pulled away from it. And AP now in the river.
Gala's cleaning up the wave in mid lane. Q through the wave. Mech needs to be a little bit careful there. Swell Seed missed out on. They know that sounds likely in that brush, and they see him now. Shanji just holding the door shut. Can't go solo frontline for too long. Ults
verdict. Sentence abstained. Looking to go into the backside as JJ looks to find an angle. Can't quite do it. Mako now at about half HP as Doinby has gone between worlds. Doesn't get that much value though JJ and Mako, but very low. Actually flashing on in, gets a lilting lullaby onto Rookie, but it's only 1. Command Protect buys time. Dragon down to 2,000 HP. Can look to steal it. Decimating Smash available. Dragon secured by NMP. That means Shanji is shoved into the wall. He's doing Blooming Blow. Rookie now needs to tell about this one as he flashes away. They've killed off the Poppy. Rookie still trading, and I can just keep running at him. Blooming Blow to Blooming Blow. The Impale is good. Gala still has yet to pull the trigger. Needs to find an angle as Shanji's about to die on the other side to Shy in a 1 versus 3. Gala keeps running. Bullet time now. Can't get the kill.
Awful team fight from Invictus Gaming. The Shockwave was not comboed with anything. The Bullet Time was not comboed with anything. The Shy had a useless flank, and JJ's Impale goes uncapitalized on. Invictus Gaming, this was your power spike. You needed to do something with it, and they failed to do so. NIP will get the Dragon largely for free, even after a crap lilting lullaby. These teams need to get their acts together soon, because this is such an important game.
Where is Jamada? Where is he? This power spike wasn't correct. I've got complaints.
Look at this key moments here. There is a flash forward from Aki. Look, the ult from Sion is fine. I don't mind trading the Poppy ult for that. But, you know, where are the combos? Joinby does a bit of a jump apart. The Shy, I think, actually doesn't have a bad entrance into this part. But then what the hell's happening after this? Doesn't follow up with anything. Dips into the brush way too heavily. And then, you know, there's a bad lilting lullaby. The next real thing which comes up is, you know, the Shockwave doesn't really end up doing anything for Rookie. The Shy's well out of sorts. Has a flash, but can't do anything with it, really. Believe just kind of ends up dunking onto him. And look at this. Impale, great. But Rookie uses the Q in the wrong direction. Doesn't go onto the Impale targets. Goes onto Aki instead, who just Zonya's instead. And now suddenly Gala's dead. IG, you are better than this. What are you doing?
Not sure they are in the team fights. The team fighting's been problematic for a little while now, and now the Shy caught in a 1 versus 5. And he don't win those. The Dominus comes on through to no avail. JJ is desperately trying to clear out the wave under this turret, but will have the Ixtal's impact through the wall and out to safety. Turret falls, and they get 2 kills.
The Shy picks the wrong runes. Rookie builds the wrong items. IG play the wrong team fights, and NIP are sliding into an easy lead now. I think they've outscaled IG at this point. I think it's going to be quite hard for them to go back. You know, Gali's meant to be strong. Gets the quick Q-tap, but has flash, has cleanse, flashes uselessly, and dies. This is an awful game from IG in the last few minutes. They've fallen apart. They've lost their heads.
Atacard now available. It would be the Voracious version. Nox leave away. That might give some moment. Rookie now coming on over. AD carry not available. Moment 2 is Doinby trading out with the support. All the while, GG now in. Shockwave on top of the Impale. Trying to get some damage on the PB god, but they can't quite kill him off. The Impale will get that finally alongside Rookie. Had a burn with that Fated Ash. They have to back away from the Atacard. It's now been leashed. And IG are here to play.
So, IG, been criticizing them heavily for the last few minutes, but this one is better. The Atacant does a lot of work for them in terms of the shred. I still think Rookie's losing a lot of damage is a problem, but they will get the Atacant against the run of play. NIP, a team that we're not convinced can join the upper echelons of the LPL right now, based on current form. This would have been a good chance for them to at least get a 3-game series, to take a series potentially off of one of our top contenders. That play around the Atakan, though, is not making it any easier for them, though.
No, it is not. And the game is 200 gold apart. It feels like it's been like this entire series.
What happened to the LPL I love, man? These are not clean team fights. These are not playing towards the win conditions. NIP should be at such a powerful point in the game, but I think that they lose their minds a little bit around the Atakan, just like IG did around that Dragon just before it. And suddenly, you know, Gala gets himself, you know, does die just before this. But what happens if he gets towards 3 items, the Infinity Edge? He was doing 0 damage towards Shanji. Maybe that might change at some point. Yeah, the sign is going to be a big problem, and I don't think the MF is a great tank shredder, but if you do manage to get like a 3-4 item MF ult over that sign, I think that's actually the only way you kill him. It's a very late Leandries from rookie. He's not built that much damage. The Infinity Edge is now through. Maybe NIP just messed up themselves to buy IG time to get towards important spikes for their carries now.
In fairness, MF's general tank shredding not great. The bullet time, however, ain't bad at it, just purely because of the raw numbers, and it crits, and it scales off your armor band, all those good things. You do need, however, a pretty full channel, and there are a lot of tools to potentially interrupt that. So Gala, eyes on him to see exactly how good those angles will be.
I also think Leave going towards the movement speed item with the Zeal, very intelligent in this game. I think that you already have excess damage. Having the movement speed to get away from a Strydebreaker Renekton, the Skarner as well, can be quite powerful. Does drop some damage for it though. IG looking towards that mid lane, grouping up.
Okay, down towards this mid lane tier 1 we look. Keeper's Verdict will be coming on out. What is the jury suggesting this time? Apparently we'll be going to another session in course.
Okay, so if IG had got that last dragon, this would be so disastrous for NIP because they have the Atakan just lasting over the dragon spawn. NIP might go towards a Baron rush if IG go towards that. Or maybe they just feel, look, we'll just not fight this objective. You still got 15 seconds to kill the dragon with the Atakan available. JJ hanging over one side, could go for another drive-by here.
Throws an upheaval over the wall. And the Skarner goes, nyah, and yells it out. It's not the scroll of truth.
NIP going towards the Baron, waiting for Gala to take down the dragon on the other side. NIP not really in a position. Well, they're not rushing it right now. A little slow onto this. Is Gala going to walk away from the objective? No, they're not. And actually, the Baron's doing a lot of damage to NIP.
All the while, Gala's soloing out the dragon so IG can come and contest with most of their front line. And with that triple item AD carry, very swiftly deleted, and the Bloodthirster keeps Gala mostly topped up all the while.
So NIP dip towards Baron, don't really manage to bait around that. There's a poppy ult to make sure they can get towards the mid turret too. Atakan's one off, IG will get this out of turret. They will get themselves a nominal, small gold lead.
There we go. Oh, system's indeed nominal this time around. The mechs are getting online here for Invictus Gaming. Wonder what items we'll be seeing on the back.
Online. Weapon systems, online. All systems not. For anyone who played Mech Warrior. Oh, good game. Good game. Fond memories of that.
I need to go play Armored Core at some point. The other side of the coin. Mech Warrior is very slow and weighty.
Yeah.
Armored Core is about being fast and
It's basically, it is Dark Souls in robots, folks. That's what it is. Rookie still doesn't have his Leandries. He desperately needs that item. Doinby has the Leandries. Is going towards hopefully a Void Staff after this.
Leandries.
The Leandries does come through. That means that Rookie might actually be able to damage Shanji now. Good heavens, IG might have picked up some damage. This build is very, very slow. Does have some decent HP to work with, but I'm quite worried about Rookie's ability to impact the actual team fights themselves. For a player which, of course, such a storied history on the Orianna itself, I'm not a big fan of this build. Talked about it at length now.
Of course, JJ picks Mechanic Rooker, and despite being into the Lilia, which does have a habit of just, as the game goes on, really accelerating in terms of the farm leads, isn't miles and miles ahead of JJ, only the level or so, which is decent. Is not game-breaking or anything here, which we've seen once or twice from Lilia.
And also, we now have the problem of IG playing with a after 30-minute Renekton that doesn't have a lead. This Renekton is not going to be a threat. It doesn't even have the Conqueror or something like that for the one-shot in the backline. 369, notable late-game Renekton player, particularly when he has a gold lead. The Shy has been that before, but more honestly, recently, the Shy's late-game Renekton has been
quite poor.
Poor to the point of maybe even game-losing at points. So, IG... This game, I think, compositionally, is against them. They will have to find ways to outplay.
Crit Cloak and Caulfield's Warhammer in inventory right now for Gala. I'm assuming with that, it's building towards... Flicker Blade. I don't remember what those two items build towards.
Could be the Essence Reaver.
Essence Reaver, that would make some sense, you're correct.
This is a small cooldown reduction, the extra ability to stay out on the map permanently with permanent mana sustain. Neko takes a bit of damage from Leave, who's building up towards an Infinity Edge himself, most likely. 3 minutes on the Dragon, that'll be solved for IG. If IG get Ocean Soul, obviously things change again, because that gives you so much ability with, particularly the Skarner, to stand and fight.
Potentially very dangerous.
He does nothing, man!
Does not.
Oh, jeez, this Renekton is so useless!
The crocodile is a little bit past his bedtime. Fortunately, you might not have changed since the Neolithic era. Unfortunately, everyone else has gone a little bit further ahead in terms of evolution. JJ goes driving forward. Can't find the biggest angle, though. 2MB now in danger. Flash down out of the Impale. Aki goes gold. But now he's in the backline. Trying to find an angle. Will die. But gets a lilting lullaby down the Gala. Cleanses away. Can look for potential bullet time. Shot over to the backside. And the bullet time after. Trying to find some of their clock watching. Can't get that much damage. It's Corky. Believe gets to pop everyone. Ricky's going to try and run down Poopy God at the very least. So it ends up being a 2 for 2, and the jungler being dead for NIP means that IG can look at the Baron, perhaps.
And that bullet time doesn't do damage. It's onto the Scion. It looks flashy, and you get excited about it, but it just doesn't have the substance behind it, because it's not onto the important people. However, IG, with the Bloodthirster, with JJ still alive, they might be able to force on Baron anyway. Are they afraid of Leave? Maybe they are. They choose not to go towards it, and instead reset the map.
Aki dies, burns Flash. 2MB also down that Flash. Same with Lead. That could prove problematic. But have a look at this one again, because it starts in a very messy way.
It does, and I don't know what the hell Aki's doing here. Aki, such an important player towards NIP here, had to jump out of the Skarner and then just ends up zonizing nothing. Has to flash this way, and I don't think he even gets the important carries there. Maybe could have flashed over the wall to Rookie instead. I think that's a mistake. The only thing which is really saving him is the fact that the Renekton is useless and the Scion is incredibly good at frontlining now. Can at least walk up and leave a platform to teamfight off of.
Very least, Rookie plus Gala get enough of a bullet time and shockwave combo onto PP God and 2MB to bring down at least one of those members on top of everything else. So could have gone a lot worse. Blighting Jewel now in inventory for Rookie. The Essence Reaver now done for Misfortune, so she's getting stronger and stronger. The problem is, this Corki at 4 items too is absolutely lethal.
Yeah, I think that Leave is very, very strong. Of course, Gala on the other side is very strong too, but he just doesn't do damage to the Scion. No one does damage to the Scion. This is Rookie dealing damage to the Scion, and it's very little.
Control of blue side jungle is NIP, so Shy looking for an angle. Dragon coming on.
Yeah, that Dragon in 20 seconds, so important. Would be Soul for IG. Gala, he does have that bullet time back up and available. If he trades Poke, he can always heal it back up with the Bloodthirster as well.
Mako chunked out by Shanji a little bit there with the Decimating Slash. Swell Seed landed onto Mako to drag him down about 2/3. Be problematic. You need that Poppy to be healthy as one of your primary initiation tools here as IG, who have managed to force the way at least partly into the river.
It's really important that the carries of IG have flashes and those of NIP don't. The Shy's caught, the Renekton is just not valuable.
He will die a horrible death, but he will get a pick. It's only onto PP. On the other side, 2MB goes between worlds. Can't get onto Rookie or Gala particularly though. Gala staying alive. They'll get that kill onto the support. They will lose their top laner in trade for the Rel.
Not gonna lie, I would actually take that trade as IG right now. The Renekton is not useful, and the PP guard Rel is actually very important in terms of the engage. The Dragon is gonna start getting burst down. JJ can just double over the wall though.
IG can look to indeed driving. Excel's impact. Dragon goes down. Can't fight it.
Leave.
That's point is now Rookie's in danger. Shockwave onto Leave. Denies that one. The bullet time on the other side. It's okay, but they pill him towards the wall. Sleep onto Gala. Can't get out to safety, and they will kill that one up. And Leave helps clean up the fight alongside Aki.
Mako punts Aki out of the bullet time. Takes no damage. Gala, poor team fights here on the Misfortune. He is the damage for IG. Didn't get damage before that. Really gets jumped on a number of times. And Rookie and Gala aren't doing the legwork. IG lose an important chance to the Soul. And NIP will go towards the Baron.
There's going to be no contest because there's no one else really alive who can do that. Now in a fantastic spot. If you look at the play, it was split apart quite heavily.
Rookie and Gala are not holding up their end of the bargain. They need to do something. Rookie, I don't think he has the items for it, but also he's just not positioned for the damage at the start of this. Gala and Rookie have no front line ahead of them here. Why are they both positioned there? You don't have a front line to go towards. Rookie tries to walk up for a shockwave and eventually ends up getting jumped on as he walks into the river. You know, this fight looks a lot different if Gala or Rookie can actually hit back against Leave while they have someone in front of them. You know, right here, you can't really do that much. You've got to work your way into the river somehow, some way. But you know, Rookie gets punted by that Q, doesn't flash out of that from that, and then Aki gets punted out by Mako. You know, talking about the bullet time again. The bullet times look flashy, but they're not good.
And you've got to call it out as well. Like, Mako, did you have to E there? Could you held it a bit longer? That's a bit problematic, and they end up just getting another disconnected fight. It feels like that's often been the way for IG over the last few weeks. The skirmishes are one thing, but the fights, again, don't feel coordinated.
And then Rookie as well, a moment which is not going to look particularly good for him, is going towards what looks to be a Crypt Bloom and not towards the Void Staff, which I think is a huge mistake here too. You lose out on some AP, you lose out on some pen, which is very, very important. NIP are massively outscaling.
And you know, the Shy is a big part of that. He's not useful on this Renekton. You are playing in a 4v5 with a late game Renekton. You didn't get a league and went Grasp. Where's that sustain we were talking about? It's not there. It's just not the right runes. He's chosen the Incarnate runes. You can play Devil's Advocate, surely in Shadow or whatever, but it's just not valuable. It's not functioning. It's a huge detriment to his team.
You've got 4.5 items on your mid and 80 carry. Maybe you can land a big combo. You got something, but I've seen 2-man shockwaves maximum, 2-man bullet times maximum, and even then for half of the channel. It's just not been there. And that's not talking about the fact that, as we said, this Renekton has felt anemic, to say the least.
Now, Gala's going towards the Zeal item last. The extra movement speed alongside the swiftness boots as well will help him reposition. I don't think Gala's positioning this game, and this series isn't good either. The first game on the Varus was caught out importantly around that Atachan, and this time, no, he's been in points, and we'll get a replay of something. What happened here? As people got, thought he had Hex Flash. He just flashed for reasons unknown to me. Well, okay, they won't have that summoner.
Well, thanks. NIP and IG, it was always going to be a little unserious at points.
They are our silliest teams, as you put it.
And for good reason, because again, some of these players at points can be some of the most incredible, like, game-breakingly clutch players in the world, period. And then by the same token, they make some of the most brain-dead decisions I've ever seen in life, and you don't know which side of that coin is going to come up any given moment, and leads to some very intriguing game states, but once again, edging towards 40 minutes.
Mako has Mikhail's, which is actually very important here. Can get rid of one of those Lily Asleep targets. Gala has the cleanse. That is important. Aki, the thing is now, you're looking at IG with arguably not even like one very good carry. NIP on the other side have Leave, who's very good, and Aki, who's very good going into the late game. So NIG have to play with a worse front line, basically no damage on their carries, against two people that could just 1v9 if they're left alive, and that is Lilia and the Corki. Leave and Aki should be feeling absolutely comfortable in this stage of the game, especially when they have the better front line too in the Scion.
That will be the plan.
Dragon up in less than a minute, and IG will be looking towards the salt, but of course NIP are now too, so NIP, of course, they've not been able to close out the game, even with a good
Don't
point.
go wrong yet.
Absolutely could do, still throwable for both teams. No, Aki's had some bad positioning in some of these games too. He has a 2-level lead over Chanji right now, though. Chanji, he's not taking damage, he's going towards Rookie.
Just about out to safety. Nice to slow down. Flash on forward.
No flash.
Worlds gets a shockwave to buy some time. Staying alive for a moment or two, and they get the Keeper's Verdict out. The bullet time, very low value. Shanji just doesn't take damage.
Well, also the wall stun misses. Again, PP God's going through. Where is the damage now?
Gala now looking to get some autos out. Gets a decent double up value, but the lilting lullaby gets some value, but it's not actually onto the biggest target. Leave down about half HP, but
Gala's dead.
Flashed away from Doomby. Has his own stopwatch to work with, and the Shy goes down. Again, can't get value. Has no damage on the late game. Renekton, another swell seed. And NIP in the extended fight proved too deadly. Ninjas in pajamas will put Invictus Gaming to bed in game 2. We are going to a decider. And IG back to the drawing board. This one, as we said, there's not enough iron in the blood. It is anemic stuff from Invictus Gaming.
Well, thanks for wasting a 40-minute game for us. This was a pretty easy one from the draft. IG had no damage. Rookie's build, that Rod of Ages, really not getting value. IG, their team fighting was not fit for purpose. Rookie, the Shy, Gala needed to deliver more, and they didn't. Now, this does hinge a little bit on how solo lanes go. We know that Silas is here, pretty about the place. But I think that the Yorick into the Nidalee needs to be put under a microscope. If the Yorick starts getting ahead, or if the Shy starts to pin back that Yorick and deny him that 1v1 pressure, well, let's be honest, it doesn't offer that much else to your team. That could be where the game is won and lost.
And the Shy has felt very comfortable to pick this Nidalee into that Yorick quite regularly, actually. It's been something he's liked to do. Can hop out of the Dark Procession, really bully on out. We've seen that good play. Can't remember whether he won that game actually into the Yorick or not. I'm struggling to remember, but I do remember seeing the early lane matchup going okay.
I remember him picking him into the Renekton. I actually don't remember him picking into the Yorick as well.
It's been a lot of games. I'll go look it up while we have a bit of a consideration. But the changes have brought him in onto the Rift for our final game today. Let's let the crowd yell.
欢迎来到英雄联盟。
Solid response from the NIP fans in their home arena against the normally dominant IG crowds who've been very vocal over the course of this year with the return of Rookie and the Shy.
very popular players. IG, a team which has been very popular with the LPL faithful. And I feel like the LPL has needed a team like this to bring name brand value, bring eyes to the region, because, you know, we haven't won an international tournament since MSI 2023. It's been 2 years now since that's happened. And while the LPL has had good teams, we had that 5-game World Finals, which was, you know, it was one team fight away from a World Championship victory for BLG. The LPL as a region has fallen on hard times, and someone like IG might be able to just restore some confidence.
You got the player value, that's for sure. Rookie, GJ, and the rest of IG looking to trade out here as NIP on the invade, looking to fight over these Raptors. Soul Flare, level 1, tags onto Mako, no one else really though.
Aki trying to just get that level 2, steals something away from the enemy camp, does get that first camp, doesn't get, oh, and he does get level 2 and goes for the root.
And there's the twisted advance, the knock up afterwards though as IG begin to flash on out. The damage back is pretty brutal as Mako now in danger, flashed out as well. 3 flashes from Invictus Gaming Blade.
And there is no important summoner blown from NIP besides their own smite. And who cares about that? 400 games in the game, 4 games in the LPL for Aki as well. Jumping forwards, knock back.
And they saw him stood on a wall, by the way. He was off on vision. Rookie tried to stand and fight for the wave regardless, and the flash is enough.
That level 1 flash was abused very quickly. Aki goes Raptors to Raptors, gets ahead of the jungle matchup, and NIP come out swinging in Game 3 with a composition which does have a lot of go buttons, has a lot of follow-up from the Jhin, allowing the Sylas into melee range. NIP, great start from them, and Rookies is it. Not often a champion he's had the best results on. Off to a slow start now.
Let's have a look at the replay, because they see Aki stood on a ward, so it's a known quantity.
He doesn't have the flash, and he's just trying to contest for the wave. He knows it. He knows it's there. He can't hide in the wave, though. He just needs to dodge the E, and I guess that's easier said than done. Didn't have the flash. He could have even flashed to confirm it if he wanted to. Great punish from Aki.
Scons one way and then abducts. Little health bar of Rookie. Nice angle on it. Allows Aki with a flash into the twisted advance. Bramble smash. Do exactly what he needs to do. Top side. The Shy with early pressure into this Yorick. Feels like that's often the way of that matchup from what little we've seen of it. In fact, the only thing we've seen it is the Shy, who of course has had this as his pocket pick. It's the break glass in case of emergency pick right now for the Shy. Continues to be very, very obnoxious on the Cougar.
Yeah. So IG, they, you know, won a good game one. Well, okay, even then it was a little bit all over the place, right? IG have played a lot of series. They would have traveled to this as well. This is their 6th series, and I played 3. But, you know, even the game 1, which IG won today, was questionable. They had what I thought was an outdraft, and it took 2 Elder Dragons to seal. Second game, I won't talk less about that. JJ can be jumped on by the Marco. Marco's actually pretty good at the early levels, worth noting.
He is, with the red buff and the scorch core as well. Can do quite a lot of work. Neither jungler actually reset yet, because they've all been fighting so much. Still a lot of quadrants to clear here, particularly for this Maokai, who will look to clear out his blue side now.
The later we get into the game, we'll see if Gala can change the fate of this. I think that the Azir and the Xayah can have a lot of say in terms of disengage and getting away from melee range diving Maokai and the Sylas as well. However, if you start losing early gold, that is a big problem. However, saving grace for them right now. The Shy playing that Nidalee versus the Yorick, you know, did win against Hoya's Yorick. With Hoya being in such poor form, I don't think that's necessarily a good litmus test, sadly. Exactly. But just on paper, typically Yorick is very good against ranged champions who can trap in that Dark Procession. Ooh, nasty. Good poke out there. But here, the Shy having a very, very good early lead.
2 plates and a 10 CS advantage very early on is great news. Shanji gets through with a reset. A Ruby Crystal and a Longsword will buy some time. Should get back in time to at least claim this cannon minion. Pretty good news. Don't miss it. Gets it. Good work.
It's very hard to miss cannon minions with the Yorick Q, I will say. Like, this champion, yeah, you have to have the kill the minion button on the cube, which is very helpful for you.
Yeah, this matchup still looking pretty good for the Shy, as said. It's been his counter pick into a lot of things, and feels pretty good there. The problem is the rest of the map having a pretty rough time of it.
Not quite at the point where we're moving around for objectives. NIP really want to use their lane dominance in bot lane, but also they need to escape it in top lane too. Don't be roaming. Dragon started. Of course, Rookie's still no flash from that level 1.
Should be able to get a very early dragon here. It's a pre-first reset dragon from Aki at level 4. Again, that's the Maokai with your sap magic. He's pretty good at soloing up those dragons. Mountain Dragon, Taurus, he doesn't do all that much damage either as an elemental dragon. He's just tanky.
Yeah,
So
if you if the highest individual target damage or Cloud Dragon is the big one for that, because it attacks very, very quickly and it does a lot of percent HP, which is nasty as heck. And then Hex Tech is kind of annoying too. The actual lowest damage one is, of course, the Manta Dragon, so it attacks very, very slowly. And if you're Zyra, you hate playing against Hex Tech, because the Chain Lightning hits all your plants.
It's very nice. Same as Elise.
Yeah,
kills all your
spiders.
spiders.
If you have ads, it's kind of nasty. So, trade across the map. We do have a roam towards the top side. I mean, how quickly did they... Hang on a second. They actually might be a bit slow on taking these. They've taken 2, but now you've got Dermby with this stolen Azirael. He could go for a play here.
Potentially something. Just Chain Lashes can't quite find
Alright,
IG
okay.
swift enough to get out.
Okay, so that's fine. Did have a quick look in, especially with Karma around the place and Jin with a long range W. There was a chance, but they get all 3 and they do get out. And IP, good job of them for looking though.
Shy, keep the grasp on Maybe he's just not changed runes again. Maybe this is just his only rune page now. It just says, much like the Sunfire Iceborne build evolved, this is all you need as a top laner. So far, so annoying. Top side chances. At least got the Maiden of the Mist up and was helping him shove out a little bit easier than he was earlier on. Not trapped as freely under the turrets.
Right, so obviously Nidalee evening up the gold of the early game. Shanji does have level 6 now, so you can kind of just push for free, and you can't go... I mean, yeah, it's kind of annoying, right? The Maiden actually does damage you quite a lot. You've got to be a little bit careful to deal with that. Problem is, you actually have very, very good single target damage, so you can kill the Maiden very, very quickly. The Shy, if he kills this, Yorick loses all his lane pressure again.
And therefore, Shanji backs away. He'll probably want to clear up some of those wards. Aki Ramble Smash Smite to secure the Raptor Pit and look to get into this river on a decent timer.
Gonna be a little bit annoyed that his Emperor's Divide is going to time out. Ooh, that's on a ward. It's a bit nasty. He's gonna kill the ultimate, which is annoying. Because again, your ultimate in the early game is literally 2-minute cooldown. It's really, really long.
Tried to use it to body block, didn't, so the Javelin toss prevents the reset, means you can't keep the Maiden topped up. And you do kill off that very important addition, and actually Shanji now can't reset in the way he was hoping for. He has to go collect his wave under the turret.
Yeah, the Shy, good lane dominance, and Shanji struggling on an individual level for many recent series. I think his Sion game last game was very good. He was one of the main reasons why IG lost that game. I mean, yes, we ended up kind of taking the edge of, look, IG, why are you playing like this, right? But still, got to throw some praise out there when it's justified too. So we'll see whether Shanji can weather the storm here. This is not a good individual matchup from the looks of it.
Really tough for sure to lead. Got himself some Swifties and a longsword, and that early flash blow bot kind of really hurt Gala and Mako, who are down a notable amount of CS there, trading out the issue topside. The problem is, of course, the Shy is getting plates in a way. The bot lane isn't currently GG now here with a level 6. Could theoretically look for that lane gank as the ghouls go flying at the Shy. Do a fair amount of work, of course, with the swipe. Does have a fair amount of AoE with that and the pounce, so you can get rid of most of the ghouls after a few cooldown rotations.
Haki has level 6. Rookie does have his flashback, and he's also up gold as well. Dermby's going for the Rod of Ages build. I will say, I don't mind that. We've talked about this a lot on the Silas. Silas is okay with the Rod of Ages. He has HP scaling, and he actually enjoys the extra level an awful lot. It does effective damage. That's fine, actually. I'm very glad that Rookie is not going for Rod of Ages on his ear.
That would have been screaming.
I would have... I don't know, man. Maybe they're just playing Ultra Bravery at that point. Misses the Candles lead. It sucks to him.
Soul Flare down. Root on to leave. But the Karma Shard right now being very valuable for NIP. Will now look to reset, assuming for something like a Dirk here. This game probably feels pretty good for NIP for all you're into a Sejuani.
IG doing well at just kind of weathering the storm of the early lane. Solo lane is doing well and on an individual level. Gala and Mako falling down a bit in their laning phase, and obviously it's 20 CS, but at least the solo laners are doing enough to leverage that out, even that out across the board.
I like end up being second longsword and a pickaxe, so you know, leave made me look silly.
Yeah.
How dare he do that?
Damn. Crazy. Crazy.
Crazy.
No, that's crazy boss. I mean, he's probably going for the collector first though in this build, because you've got one tank to be afraid of, and you do actually have good anti-tank damage. You're going to get the Leandries first from Kamaki as well, which is helpful for taking down that Sejuani.
Mako going to get rooted up by the focus as well. The deadly focus into the Soul Flare. Doesn't take all that much damage at this point with the Guardian and everything else rolling on through. The Null Magic Mantle at least helping mitigate the base damages of the Karma somewhat as the Dark Possession comes on through. Change trading out for Shy, who's not having all that much fun. JJ now coming on up. The Nature's Grasp coming on forward from Route 1 up. The Glacial Prison in trade up with Shanji in danger. Trying to get some damage back. Flash for the heal. Keeps himself alive with that Grasp proc. Critical Flash Q.
And also the healing you get just from the Q as well. So much sustain, and we get ourselves an ult on the bot side.
Rookie's already burned his as well, so some Macedonian warfare as we talk about the push of pikes. Favouring Duembi as he earns an additional flash.
Duembi, I think I think his teleport was cancelled. I think Rookie went in, traded his flash and his ult to make sure Duembi couldn't be on the top side of the map. Now Rookie could teleport top side. Duembi will be a little later there.
Look the snipe one down. Regala, though, in danger, flashes away, puts a decent amount of damage onto Aki. That brings him down to about a third HP. Deadly Flourish lands on some Mako, damage back. Gets him down to about half, but at least has a bit of healing.
Nidalee,
That's not a great TP in. They open up the curtains, trying to get some damage onto him, but actually low enough, but he can't stick around for more.
Yeah, so at least he's going to be okay there. Has some HP, of course, from the Triforce, and he has his own heal on his E. The Shy saves his flash. I was wondering actually whether Rookie would teleport in. Nope, stayed around in bot side. I actually wonder whether I actually wonder whether the Shy was playing a mind game there, saying, well, haha, I am Vizier. Do not, you know, you can jump on me. And he's actually a slightly more mobile, slightly more healthy Nidalee at that point. So Rookie gets to push in a wave in bot side. So 5 grubs to IG. NIP failed to get a play on top side. I think they are just getting a bit out-muscled in this early game, really.
A bit. Of course, still bot lane was going well, but the Shy picking up that similar CS lead plus the plates proving a little problematic. The melee into range discrepancy between the Azir and the Sylas, despite the early first blood, is still going the way of Rookie on this Azir. We've got Dragon up, and NIP, because they were contesting around the grubs, don't have a great reset timing to look to play for that one either. Shanji no TP, neither does the Shy, and that leaves this top side. Kind of out the Shy to take here with a Demolish proc, you'd imagine.
Why were you picking this Yorick knowing the Shy does have this matchup? Shanji, he's such a comfort-based player, but this Yorick is such a black hole of pressure. This top lane matchup, we said, it will likely decide the outcome of this game. The Nidalee is ahead, probably close to 2,000 gold, 1.6k, and they'll start building off of that too. Shanji, you can't pick this knowing the Shy. It will just slam in that Nidalee. He's a player which needs comfort, but you can't lose this heavily at the cost of it.
See how the mid game plays out. Ala fell to a fairly similar discrepancy at one point and ended up becoming such a split push threat post one item that was able to come back even with a limited amount of grubs. See whether Shanji can do something similar here. They're looking to fight over this dragon. Mikey will back away. I say that. JJ Arctic Assaulting forward onto Leaf, who does a decent job of running away with that passive movement speed. And the turns around, opens the curtain. Darla now potentially in danger to solve their lands. Mako body blocking for the team. Holds on to that fourth shot. Looks for a fire. Gets it onto a bit more damage into the root afterwards. And Rookie left at about a third HP.
Yeah, Leaf completely happy with the fleet footwork and also the Karma shield as well. You sometimes forget the Karma's in the game, but I mean, it is also, you know, pretty good at finding shields.
A singular play.
It might even be 2 with Demolish. We'll see. 5 seconds left. Shanji actually claims back a good amount of gold there. All right, that's nice. I mean, it's now close to 1,000 rather than the 2. As the Shy left that to go wandering on the top side of the map. Talking about Arla, I actually can't remember the game he came back with on the York. What matchup was that into?
It was one where I was doing solo casting.
Well, no, but what matchup was it into? Because it's not...
It wasn't Nidalee.
That's the thing, because I actually don't think the York has losing matchups that much besides the Nidalee. Which is a big thing, right? It's one thing, oh, you come back against a Renekton because you can split push back against him, blah, blah, blah. Doing it against a Nidalee is not easy to do. And I think that even though Shanji has some points of power, it's very likely that he's just going to get kited out by the Shy and chased down if he decides to run away from him.
Do a bit of researching, see what it was. It was into Scion.
Yeah, well, that says everything you need to, doesn't it? It's just...
It was versus BLG. It was the JDG win against BLG.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, the thing about something like the Scion is that you can just hit him for forever. Nidalee, you're actually very lucky to get to hit him at all. And if you hit them at all, like, Shy, look at this. He just gets to sit all attack range. He has his own heals. You don't even get to keep your Maiden alive because the Shy, because, you know, the Nidalee is so good at killing single targets like that. It's not like the Maiden can micro to sidestep and stuff like that. This is not the kind of matchup you're expecting the Yorick to come back into the game against, really.
Pressure comes on in the Shy with this counter pick specifically into the Yorick alongside everything else. Right? Feeling pretty good here. Another reset in from Yorick, who goes back for the long swords. Just going to claim up on this wave. The maiden at least back to full HP. Clear out this wave.
Yeah, when you go to base, you can heal up your maiden by standing on the fountain. It does get healed by that, which is, convenient. Just needs to not die so it goes on cooldown. NIP, 2 dragons, behind 1,000 gold. Yeah, the quickness on Dimby, which is one of the better ults to use, but I'm just afraid that NIP are just losing out in terms of pressure across the map. The Yorick can't do anything against the Nidalee, and I don't think that gets better. The Azir's pushing in very nicely on the bot side. Went to the Leandries first for a bit of early HP, but going towards the Nash's Tooth. Zayak is fine holding the mid wave as well, even against the Jhin and the Karma at this point. They're not necessarily poking out. And there has been a 20 CS lead, which is stopped at that point. Teleporting to the top side, though, Doomby getting a 2v1 on the top side, I think makes a lot of sense. They will get, well, they didn't get the first strike that was already taken earlier, of course, but they get something on that top side to open up A lane.
Also the objective mark of strength here, assuming NIP can secure that. IG, though, looking to play for that mid-tier 1. Will likely go down there to smite. Leave and PP God coming across to try and claim the wave here at the very least. IG feel the need to retreat, don't want to stick around too much under that turret. So the wave is cleared, but half the HP bar gone. Shanji resets, claims that wave under turret. Lost about 2 or 3 minions there, but in the end, NIP happy enough to get something on the map there, where they were kind of being full court pressed.
Yeah, I think that's decent in terms of the trade. Hang on, that guy is actually, hang on, he's on vision there. Mako maybe knows it now. Gonna W away. Aki, does he want to flash for it? Nope, no he doesn't. Minute 30 until Dragon. NIP really want this Dragon. They really want this Dragon, because I think if they get towards Soul Point and Infernal, maybe you can play around Jhin crazy AD numbers, because of course he gets just way too much, way too much from that. Shandy missed a kind of minion there, just want everyone to know that. I want everyone to be aware.
-1.
There was a -1 as he missed that minion. Damn.
So, goes back, buys a BF, so we've got a minute until Dragon Force with the Yorick changes. Part of the aim of them was to make them a little bit more palatable in team fight. It's still not a great team fighter, but it's doable in a way it just wasn't before.
Rich the Meta saying in chat, IG lacking engage. I do disagree with that. You do have Sejuani, you do have the sweep, and it's not that easy to stop that, and you have the Rakan as well. Yeah, you don't have the engage from something like a top laner, but I think they do actually have that. Now, the problem is, their engage is going to get very, very stumped if you get, well, partially stumped if you get the Mikhails coming through from the Karma, which is one of the better things for it. I think when you see these kind of, stun-reliant engage champions or root-reliant, and you pick an enchanter in, so you get huge value from that. Fourth shot from Lee gets the enchanter shield to move back. One of the reasons why Jhin Zillion was so powerful back in 2021. Knockup goes on to Aki. Not sure that's a play they can really follow up on, though. Karma Shield's getting good value for the disengage.
Well, topside, big chunk onto the Nidalee. Shanji suddenly winning out in that 1v1 sense. The ghouls flashing. Forwards are going to get the solo kill onto that Nidalee who's running away. Desperately going to get hit by the Morning Mist, though. Gets a Q. It's a solo kill for Shanji.
How the hell has Shanji gotten a solo kill in a matchup which the Shy was winning so heavily? That might actually be the floodgates being blown here. Shanji teleports now down to the bot side of the map. 5v4 for 25 seconds.
You need to see what was in Shanji's inventory. Was it a breakpoint in the items? What on earth happened? Either way, Dragon now surely secured Soul Point for NIP.
That's huge. How the hell does the Shy die in that moment? I mean, he's got himself the anti-heal of the Executioner's Calling. That's something, but it really felt like the Shy should have been running away with that matchup, and absolutely was. In fact, we were very confidently saying before, this is not a matchup that the Yorick comes back against. We'll have to get ourselves a replay of that, because the Shy had flash, had himself enough items in inventory, was 1,000 gold ahead, and we'll get a replay of this. So, XP, relatively similar. Shy walks up, full wave, jumps once, doesn't flash out of the cage, uses his W too early, gets caught by the cage after. The Shy, misusing his flash and his W, he underestimates the Yorick. This should not happen. As soon as you get caught by that cage and you are out of W cooldown, you flash immediately. That is the way that you play against the Yorick as a ranged champion. You need to be inside that cage for as little as possible. The Shy, a crucial misstep, which might throw the series for IG.
Now at level 12 as well. He's got that Q maxed out. That means a lot more ghouls. You've gotten the Maiden to level to 2nd rank as well. These damage moments are very, very scary. And yes, you were behind in lane, but Yorick's still at 1.5 items. The levels have come on through, and suddenly Yorick feels a lot better about this game. Remember that Arla game? It wasn't looking pretty early on there either, and then suddenly the game just became about the Yorick.
And I do really want to stress this. This is not a game in which the Yorick should have been able to come back, and we did get a replay of some ults being traded in mid lane, and Gala, I guess, getting out of that alive, but this is not a matchup where the Yorick should be able to claw back in. You are very much countered by a Nidalee that can keep at range, kite you, and never really get stuck in that cage. The fact that the death came also at a time where NIP could snowball that into a dragon and soul point, that is even worse. It is not just a hard solo kill to give up, it's at the worst possible timing too.
Costs you so damn much, and the Yorick is in the game now. Should never really have had that happen, and now these ghouls keep piling on forwards, and I don't think this Azir is going to enjoy that matchup either.
No, because you only have that one E. If you get hit by the goop and the ghouls jump on you, and then you have to dash away, and then the procession hits you.
Ultros here?
Yeah, the less we say about that, the better. Don't necessarily want a candle smelling like that. Yeah. Leave going towards the second item, Infinity Edge. He's going to be so powerful when that hits. And now the problem is, if Nidalee doesn't get an individual lead, what does Nidalee do? Because this is meant to be a side lane pick, which then can become very bulky backline diving assassin. It's very hard to play, but you need to play from ahead. You need to stat check people, you need to mechanically outplay. You want to be opening up extra angles by pushing in side lanes. If Yorick is suddenly into the game and gets towards, a strong 2 items, NIP can contest that a lot better. It gives them the chance to use the Maokai to go off on one angle, Yorick come in from another. Afghan started up, NIP... I mean, if they trade 2 turrets to this, I think they're happy. It is the GA version. It will be GAs which last over towards the dragons. They'll need to be a little bit careful of that. The vision plant, not going to spot this out. Aki will walk up and see this go down. Bot lane, no, this is going to go. However, this is going to be 2 towers for NIP.
Yeah.
If they get the 2 towers, I think it's worth it. We'll see if they finish it off. Looks like they do. Yorick pushing on the other side of the map. 2 towers, golden pocket for NIP. The GA is now available for Invictus Gaming.
Alright, with this point as well, we'll start doing a lot of work to this turret. He might just stand here and finish the Dark Procession immediately prevent easy follow-up. There's the Shy who opts straight over it.
That's why the Nidalee is meant to be really good against the Yorick, by the way. Ahead in gold now, by the way. Teleplating from the... Hang on a second. He's going to go over trap if he shuffles in.
Present. Gonna look for that one. In we go, and PP God gets slided into the NBT.
Good kill. Uses that teleport for, and of course, PP God didn't have a Mikhail's. He has himself the Redemption instead. Of course, a very powerful individual item. That actually might give up now the mid lane turret. See how much that leads to. That could be a mistake there from PP God. Good teleport from Rookie. Important play made by him and JJ.
Now they'll have a minute and a half on the Atakan, and Soul comes up in a minute. That overlap might be enough for IG to get some serious value there. Taking that dragon will buy them a lot of time.
Yeah. Shojin built up by Shanji. That is a huge spike for the Yorick. It does mean that you have more cooldown on obviously all of your basic abilities, but then the amount of damage you get is kind of insane too. 40 seconds until Dragon. Of course, the GAs for IG are going to be very important. However, it's not necessarily an instant win. Remember, if you die with them now, it takes you about 15 seconds to come back. Still cheap, but hang on a second. Shy finds a bit of an angle onto Aki.
Back with the Bramble Smash. Stolen ult. Turns into that Glaive Suppression on JJ, who may not be asked to pass go. Blown up. 20 seconds until Dragon. He's going to be dead for 15 of them.
Certainly, the Shy now finds Doomby in this pit too. He'll have to jump out potentially. Maker could look for an engage. IG, you can't be dying right now, even with the withdrawals.
My days. There comes the ult. They're going to keep jumping for a bit more. The Shy's Mikhail's out to safety. Grand Endless with Aki in danger, who might well be dying. Redemption heal! Keeps Aki alive for a second or two. The Shy kills him nonetheless. Got a GA to work with those withdrawals, but they've lost the smite. Gala now in danger. Up into the sky he goes, but not down like the wounded bird. He stays up. The wings still just about in functional while Rookie is in mid lane.
Biggest thing here is that Aki actually dies. JJ back out on the map, so the NIP can't actually go for the dragon. They would have loved to do that, but Aki dying means they can't take the smite onto the dragon in a turret now taken by Rookie. And NIP at the start of this, I was thinking, wow, incredible. They get the withdrawal off of JJ, they can start going towards the dragon, but they go way too far after.
Cost them too much. Can't quite secure what they were hoping for. Tier 2 for Dragon Falls and IG. Into the game with a solid gold lead now. A little bit of an overplay there. This Rookie Azir, 1400 gold, might be taking over from where the Nidalee was supposed to start off. Could be a very potent mid to late game player. Let's have a look at this again, because initially it's Aki getting caught, and they turn it around onto IG.
I mean, you don't have Gala there and you don't have Rookie there, so your damage is just not present. The Shy has some, but you're not actually a proper DPS carry. You maybe assassinate one person, probably not the Maokai that either, in that time span. This bit is fine. Again, this is okay. I think even the bit after this, when you throw the mark out, is maybe all right. But as soon as you get to this point, when Gala comes into the play, you have made a huge mistake. You get CC'd up in front of that Zaya, who gets a huge amount of value. You said, hey, eventually Gala will get good value at the late game. Just didn't expect it to be happening in this fashion. And this is a bit of a throw from NIP. I feel like they should have been able to get the Infernal Soul off of this. Instead, it's delayed. Dragon is killed by IG in the replay. And we wait another couple of minutes until NIP have another chance.
A flash off Gala, off the Shy. Maybe you can punish without those two. And the flash being down, particularly for the Shy, into Shanji at this point. If you do misuse that W again, this Yorick isn't getting any less scary in a side lane.
Back out onto the map. These games, all three of them, have not been clean. I think the macro and the decision making has been suspect. Don't even think the team fighting's even been that clean either. This is the kind of series which does highlight one of our worries coming into it, which is these are maybe our silliest teams up in the LPL. A little bit hard to predict. Some great players, but often determined around comfort or certain compositions. Dermby's now behind in gold significantly. He's been dropping side lane farm to give it over to Shanji, because Shanji's been given all the side lane farm, really. Whereas IG, they've been more confidently able to pick up 3 lanes of farm. They are down a little bit in that AD carry role that has stayed from the early game, but I guess it's not gotten completely out of control. How much can Leave do? It's not necessarily been on him to carry this so far. How much can he realistically do?
Gala slowed down by that captive audience. Won't get rooted up there. Those are often scarier than you think they are. Those slows can set up things like those deadly flourishes very cleanly. Baron started. IG want to press while they have an advantage.
They want to make sure that Shanji doesn't just get a free side and bot side. Dermby is on top side. This is going down. Well, what is the HP? If it's on half HP, it's a late teleport. Are they just going for the steal?
Well, be looking for Dermby, looks to get on in, can steal the quickness, gets a big old stun in the backline. Baron taken, but they can win out the fight perhaps afterwards. The Shy gets out of the dark possession. The curtains are still being called, but I don't think IG are willing to take a bow quite yet. Shanji throws down the last right. Deadly Flourish just wide. Morning Mist also wide. And IG get out with everyone on the Barons right now as NIP can't find any kills.
NIP just slow on the teleport. Of course IG are going to try and force the teleport out of the split pusher, so what this ends up being is a Baron for an inner turret, which is absolutely not worth it. Actually, that's different. They do somehow take the inhibitor turret. All this happened, I suppose he did manage to get an extra wave on there. They get 2 turrets for the Baron. That is worth it for IG.
Better than it could have been. IG now, though, will have the Baron leading into the Dragon fight, and that could be pretty huge here. If they construct pressures with these tier 2s themselves, they've got a tier 3 in mid lane they can also run at pretty free.
Now, that's the biggest thing. You get the Baron riding straight into the Dragon, which NIP would like to use to win the game. Now, IG will see how much they can do with this. Of course, Shanji, once again, reclaims a gold lead. 3 items now on the Yorick. I just don't see how the Yorick team fights. Very hard to team fight as Yorick into Azir and into Zaya. You're very rarely able to actually walk up and do damage to them, and that's before you mention the fact that, you know, the Rakan can kind of disengage for them so easily too. Shanji's value is in split pushing and map pressure. Giving a load of gold to him doesn't actually help your team fight out that much compared to it would have done with a Silas or something like that.
Got a Sterex now at least, so a little bit more ability to keep it. Not like the hull breaker angle, but a flash on board from Aki. After the ult's already come on down, Rookie goes golden. Still going to look to get him. They mistime the deadly flourish, and he gets to shuffle away to safety.
And even if that did happen, there's still a Mikhail's available for Mako. It's still very unlikely to happen. And by the way, Mako just tanks up the stolen Sejuani ultimate, and IP swing and a miss on the engage.
Looking for that one very aggressively. They'll go back to there at the wave in mid lane. That does leave IG with health balls a little bit worse for wear, but nothing too unmanageable to play for tier 2 here.
So easy take. Minute until that Dragon. Pushing a little bit longer, go for a quick reset, and then go towards the Dragon in force. Pushing up that mid and bot lane means it's much harder for NIP to claim vision around that area, and a struggle for them to get in with the right angle.
Third item's just done for our AD carries coming into what could be our pivotal fight. Bloodthirster on the side of Gala, survivability, whereas the Lord Dominic's Regards just got them the lead, who wants to send a heavy message.
Rookie huge item too, because he used that stasis at the stopwatch before the Seekers, goes back, buys a Zhonya's, instantly comes off of cooldown, so he has that stasis again. I can use it potentially for a big flash shuffle. I mean, basically, all of our important summoners are up in terms of carries. You have all of the flashes available. Good damage on Twitty there, actually. Needs to be a little bit careful. Leave, I mean, he's done a lot of hyper carrying before. Not really had the easiest game here so far. Not actually able to hit the targets he's had to, needed to.
Do NIP even want to contest this Dragon? You don't have to. It'd only be second Dragon. For Soul, significant win condition for them. But you fumble this with where the waves are, and the game is over.
And okay, you bring a good point there in terms of the maiden micro. Yeah, and the friend of mine who I duoed with for years is a good Yorick one trick, so he's spoken to me many years as Music Man down about the pains of Yorick micro on the maiden, and it feels like Shanji
hasn't really managed to get the value he wanted to. Dermby's on a sideline now. He does have the teleport. Aki could get a good flanking ult here. Do we have a teleport? Yes, we do. Here comes Dermby.
Curtains are called, looking for significant amount of damage. Dermby comes along, looking to steal a big ultimate. Rookie down to half HP as that shot did land. Stolen. Ult not coming on through. That was actually the abduct. Got baited by the chains.
NIP, that's their engage. That is their engage. They have a Maokai ult, and that's kind of it. Maybe a Jin W. But you have a cleanse and you have the Mikhails on the other side. They blow the cooldowns, but nothing else. IG now don't have to worry about that teleport coming from Dermby, and of course the Maokai ult is also down. That Mikhail's so important for the side of Mako.
Very wary there with the quickness on top of Dermby. There's a wave top side that NIP was threatening. 22 minutes until the Barons. That's not up and available to be taken. Here's a contest over IG's blue side jungle.
Rookie has Flash, has Zhonya's. Wonder if he can make a big play at some point. Obviously, he's more like the backline DPS right now. Realistically, did. NIP, hang on a second, go straight in.
Oh boy, the Shy just about to survive in the Deadly Forest, just out of range. They still get the root, and that means a kill coming on forwards. The feathers come up, he can get the root onto Dermby, who stays alive, despite the Glacier Prison and the Feather Storm going down.
Ow, the Shy gets caught there. It's beyond me. Uses the Flash. Dermby manages to set up a play. We said, well, that's their engage using the Maokai ult and then maybe a Jin W. Of course, Dermby can occasionally do something like that too. Even down 2.5k. He's always been a person that can drop waves and get value elsewhere. Does it there. But how the hell does the Shy get caught like this? Trying to jump forwards onto leave. He doesn't have the vision either side of mid lane. He just jumps way too far forwards. He almost throws this game there, by the way. Because if you end up dying there, you end up getting, and someone else dies with you, you end up getting Shandy walking down your base with a 3-item Yorick who just slaughters your turrets.
Flash on Dermby to flash on the Shy. Mako is the one who died, and now this Jin nearly at what will likely be a rapid fire cannon to try and threaten what is on the whole a slightly longer range composition. I say that slightly, it is just longer range. You've got 3 melees topside, so what am I talking about?
Yep. Now Jin can sometimes contest that, but it's one man against a cougar, a bird dude, another bird person. Yeah.
Lots of birds.
How that happened? Oh, the Shy, you have no flash.
It's over the wall, but he's got to focus resolve on top of him. Jin pops the Nidalee in the head.
The Shy's late game has been so questionable here in the LPL Ascent stage, and that might just be the opening which NIP need. If Yorick is here and he just turns up now, this is a dead turret. So easy for him. 20 seconds on Baron, and the Shy gets picked in the same spot twice over.
Jin's playing Counter-Strike, finds the headshot, and once the dome will open the accounts in this mid lane, just ahead of the Baron.
I can't believe the Shy's done this. The Shy's late game has been so poor in the last few series. A player known for his late game parry potential walks up into the mid lane again. I guess he walks over a trap and gets W'd. Had no flash from that last play. That could be so important. Maokai used to disengage. Baron taken. Can IG wave clear through this? And before we said incredibly important that IG get themselves the Baron to go into the Infernal Dragon spawn. Well, NIP are the ones with the actual soul point. They have the Baron out with the Yorick pushing in. Nidalee is not a good wave clear. Azir is, Xayah is. You can't clear 3 lanes at once.
Uh-oh, Aki just got stunned up here. That could be problematic. If he has to die, they're TPing in. They are flash away from Aki. He's got Dermby around, but now Mako's potentially in danger. Needs to beware. Quickness comes on down. But the Glacier Prison after, and Aki's trying to bounce around. Doesn't better. Immune some stuff with the Twisted Advance. The TP's come flying on through, and Aki dies on a late recall.
Okay, who's throwing harder, the Shy or Aki? Aki might have just stunted the Baron fight. And now, of course, he's going to be dead until the setup of that Infernal Dragon. Both teams really struggling to make things clean in the late game.
How on earth did he get picked off there? A lot of flashes blown to make it happen, but still, job done.
And actually a big thing, you've also used your teleports too. Shanji could potentially just sit in a sideline now with, of course, a huge amount of late game items.
Oh yeah.
And do something with that. You've got 2 minutes left of the Baron, 30 seconds till Dragon comes up. Of course, Aki not being there means that it's going to be unlikely to want to sit around and fight. Fumbles in late game from both teams, you hate to see it.
Really problematic. I want to see how on earth that happened. Why was Aki so late on hitting the back button? Shield perhaps a solo laners who were going towards that top side. Either way, Punish comes on through. NIP in the mid lane trying to fight for control with the Yorick and the Baron. Going to be hard to beat that. Curse the cord, looking to get some chunks in before the Dragon spawns.
It's not blind. Great. Oh, that's actually okay. Getting some damage onto Rookie there. You do have the Nidalee heals to help you a little bit. Of course, almost towards max level. Shandy staying in the mid lane. Maybe NIP give this up and try and look for inhibitor. What's Shandy doing? Does he teleport? Does he stay?
I think they're trying to deny the resets. The inhibitor. They've got Maokai ult to roll with. Doinby throwing down the quickness, trying to get onto the Shy, misses the duck. The Shy now beginning to hop away a bit further, still looking for more, lands another one, that'll get the knock up after the chain lash afterwards. IG now trying to defend this defensively. They get the Glacial Prison route.
Towers down.
Route as well, but Kale down. Deadly Flourish still lands, Inhibitor under siege, and they will bring down the Shy.
Azir went towards mid lane to try and wave clear, but it's not in time to save the Baron. There's still a minute left off the Baron, by the way. Inhibitor goes down, but without the Shy, again getting picked off. NIP might have just won the macro. It might be a Dragon for Nexus trade.
Blue Peter style, they go back to the Inhibitor. They prepared earlier, 2 Inhibitors down, Glacial Prison now stolen. Doinby looks for an angle.
Oh!
Immediately cleanses away to safety. Has got the flash to work with. Redemption comes on down, will heal them back up. Nexus turret number 1 falls, and IG on the brink. 4v5 must stop this. Doinby healing up best he can with the Oblivion Orb. Does a great job of preventing the healing. Has got a TP to come back on and shoot his own wish. Maiden likely going to fall, and NIP won't stick around quite yet. TP back on in. They are going to go again. They got the TP on Yorick to keep on going. 17 seconds on the Shy. They throw up the Sun Disc, looking to find an angle. Doinby gets a shield from the Karma. Continue to play. Rookie down to 20% HP. And the curtains have been called, doing their best to hold on down as the shuffle back onto JJ. Doing the work is Mako with the quickness, buying time. Doinby survives.
Tower's gone.
As the towers are gone. Onto the Nexus we go. Gotta go to the air, bring the feathers down. Doing his very best to hold on to this game. Glacial Prison well wide, but NIP need to retreat. Mako goes grand entrancing and battle dancing forwards. And IG hold the line. 2 kills as their Nexus turrets fall.
Thought IG might have thrown it around the Dragon. The Shy, if he hits a spear, could end up to another kill. He's still going to chase down. This Karma could actually be chased. He needs to be very careful, this PP god. NIP lose 2, and it's their carries as well in Doinby and Leave. Problem now, IG have a bare Nexus. Yes, yeah, Nexus turrets now do respawn over time. But if Shanji gets an angle towards that, he will absolutely slaughter the Nexus. He is so strong at killing that. It is a bare Nexus, and IG are lucky there are no globals up to threaten it.
Double TP wasn't quite enough, and they tried to jump on a JJ and can't quite secure it. Either way, NIP now in a very dangerous position for this game. They've got a Chem Pump chainsaw onto this Yorick who wants to rip and tear until this one is all done.
I think IG obviously get away with one a little bit there. 3 Infernal Dragons onto the Azir, who's getting towards late game, and onto the Zyra as well. Definitely nothing to sniff at. I think Doinby messed up a little bit, actually, when it came through to that Nexus finale. Had the flash, stole that ult onto the Azir, gets hit by a Zyra root, I think unexpectedly for him, and can't get himself a big moment onto big carries of IG. So close to opening up that game. NIP, of course, they couldn't stick around to fight if they end up all dying. We are now led into the game. It's a one-team fight game. I think it does get down to that point. NIP, Smoke and Mirrors mode, very much available to them now. But on the other side, Rookie picks up a Void Staff. This is a late game Azir with 3 Infernal Dragons.
Lead, of course, with 4.5 items himself is no slouch. This Yorick is pretty damn terrifying, significantly ahead of the Nidalee now, and will continue to be very, very dangerous in a 1vx scenario.
That Winged Moonplate, given the move speed, might be very, very important if he starts to walk towards the Nexus. Has Flash. How quick would he kill it? He's probably going towards a Hullbreaker last, I'd imagine. We'll see what he ends up going towards that completely. Walking down that mid lane. Shy trying to clear out that bot side. Minute 30 until the last dragon, and that will be probably last dragon of the game. It'll be Infernal Soul for either team. Lot of gold differential in the mid lane. Doinby giving up farm, as we said, really over towards that top lane matchup, saying, look, I've got the items I need. Is that arguable? Yeah, it is actually a little bit. Having more damage on the Silas could have been so crucial at this point. A lot of traps coming through. Of course, level 70 on a Leave means you've almost maxed out that ability just yet. Whole team of NIP basically on a vision ward there, though.
How many traps coming on down? IG do not want to face check through that. The CC combo is very nasty. There's a quickness stolen. And one of the more potent options for Doinby to steal.
Baron in 10 seconds. Dude, IG want to go into all of this fog of war. That's so scary. Jed not even that tanky and misses the ult.
Oh no, now the Sejuani flashing away for Court of the Dark procession. Welcome to your last rite. It's a funeral, and we're here to celebrate the life and death of one of these teams.
Rookie?
They go to the backup, but Mako is dead. Rookie trying to find Angogala up into the air, but might be going 6 feet under. The Shy is gone. Leave continues to haunt the backline. Rookie trying to ult the wave, but there's nothing to be done. Look where Doinby is. He's running at the bare Nexus, and there's nothing left for Invictus Gaming, whose name proves to be a deadly lie today.
The ninjas use smoke and mirrors, the tools of their trade, and Invictus Gaming are going to fall fall, even though they've had such good results recently against top esports. The Nexus turrets have respawned, but they're not going to live for long.
There's a spectator bug there, not showing exactly what HP they're on. They're never as strong as the base ones. But NIP here, they've done the hard work. 3 40-minute games, back and forth until it finally swings. The pendulum of fate is NIP's. They win 2-1.